Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into the famous Dwayne podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne. I got a couple of special guests here. First and foremost, we got Wifey to be over here.
Hey.
We got M&A or A&M. Know what I mean?
Yeah. I go by Malcolm, MC the Artist on Instagram, right, Twitter, you know what I'm saying? That pimp, go get that mixtape, you know what I'm saying? Feel me?
Please stop.
Right, I'm sorry, I'm embarrassing myself. This is my lovely wife, April, but I respect her agency. She's not just my wife, she's a mother, she's a...
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, that was cute.
Educated and informed response.
Representing for the real niggas across the globe, Mr. International. Say what up to the people.
That's for me.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
I'm like, damn, you're not a real nigga.
I fumbled the alley-oop. It was like I fumbled the alley-oop. Yeah, it was good, y'all. This is the Hip Hop Professor, man. One part of your favorite internet podcast, No Fucks Given, man. I'm here to drop some knowledge and share some things with these lovely people here today.
No fucks given. I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We got Team No Fucks Given, Team I Am Dwayne, and Team Poignant Bars all in one podcast. It's like a...
Yes, this is a crazy cross promotion.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
It's a crossover event.
Brought to you by alcohol.
Brown alcohol.
There you go.
And I'm at work.
Right,
close alcohol I got for you was just hand sanitizer.
It turned into a palm tree. We didn't even see it.
Kind of like a coconut. Kind of
was like, nah.
Like the drinks you get on the beach, right?
Like they
that turned right into a palm tree tap.
So we talking about situationships, entanglements, and affairs. And we figure there's going to be a couple more couples, but some people couldn't make it. Some people was like, I'm not going to be here with my significant other because I'm going to kill them if they say the wrong thing. So this is probably going to be part 1 of 2.
Oh, God.
Nicole made the same face with me.
So I guess we'll start with the married couple. What is your take on, I guess, entanglements and situationships? Do you think that it's that's part of the culture now? Do you think that there's a place for it? Like, what are your thoughts?
So when you
it ain't a part of this culture.
That's right. Okay. That is true.
Okay.
But when you say entanglement, are we talking about like the viral, like open marriage, Will Jada entanglement, or are we talking about like situationship, like gray area? Because that's 2 whole different. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is, there's levels. So I mean, I guess what we'll do, we'll start in order. So I'm guessing like with situationships, I guess we'll start with that.
Okay.
But I think that's definitely part of the culture. Everyone got a side.
Yeah, I just got confused because Will and Jada are married, and that's where the word came from, entanglement. So I'm like, wait, are we getting right into that? Or are we gonna like, okay.
I think we'll say
situationships is like
the spiciest one.
Any situationships when you like moving, you know what I'm saying, and y'all don't really have a title for each other, but y'all
that's
really
kind of how I translate it.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I translate like situationships as kind of like there's not really a descriptor, like nobody has a title, so people are still kind of doing them. But are you? But like you get kind of attached, but like should you? But then they do something, so then you're mad. But then like, can I be mad? Like that's kind of what I think of what a situation.
What are we?
Yeah.
What are we?
What are we?
Yeah.
Like y'all see each other heavy, but like y'all haven't made anything official. So now y'all kind of got some weird. I think that is the culture right now.
There's a lot of that.
I think there's a lot more of that than there is like cut and dry like relationships. I think because the talking thing has become like the norm. Like, oh, I talked to him. Oh, I talked to her. Or we talked. Like,
what does that mean though? Like talking, like.
I think it's because the world has become too mixy with social media. Like people are just way too, reachable all the time by too many parties. Come in and out your life, at ease. So I think that's why everybody just chooses to talk, because you don't really have to take the risk factor of just like being exclusive. You don't have to put yourself out there. And why should you? How can you really trust the people out here doing? Like,
Right.
She could have a whole Instagram account. He could have a whole nother Instagram account, living a whole nother life, doing Lord knows what.
That's where I say the situationship is a part of the culture, because social media changed the culture as far as like the dating culture. Because before you had like the people in your hood, or like the people you worked with, or like people you went to school with, like that was your pool, or like you went out to the club at night. That was your whole pool. And then you didn't see how people were moving outside of that, because unless you were on the phone with them or in like a chat room, that was that. Now people have so much access to your every move that it has blossomed this whole, like, you could be like a pretty girl in like the sticks of like Iowa, but you could be talking to like a famous basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the DMs is open. So I think the DMs have definitely contributed to the situationship culture, like you said, because it's like accessibility. So people before, dudes didn't have that much, not just dudes, because I'm gonna say women too, because we got options, child. So before, everybody didn't have that big of a pool. You know what I'm saying? So now people are more
right.
You
look like you want to say something.
People are
more, like you want to say something, sir.
People are more delayed with like setting like an exclusivity, because they're like, yeah, I'm talking to like her, but then I got her and her and her and her and her too as like options, and vice versa, because it's the same way with women. Like, a dude think that he the only one that's sliding your DMs, he's dead wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it goes ways.
Far more options than men, at least 15 times more.
Well, coming to them, but the thing is, men seek more, so y'all still might have as many options, but y'all pursue those options. Just the difference is the women don't have to do as much pursuing, I would say. Because the dude who's on the hunt could get into a nice little chit chat with 15 women the same way 15 dudes could DM one girl, but she's not necessarily.
I think that's a boy. Men ain't got time for stuff like that.
All right, I like that.
We got a new Darian McRae.
Darian McRae. We got a green block. We got a Roblox.
We got a.
It's Minecraft.
What up? What up?
Hey.
What's happening with you? What's happening?
About the concept of situationships, you know what I'm saying? And I guess, you can see everybody's name on here. We can introduce later and all that, but
yeah.
You can finish, April.
Oh, me? I don't remember what we was talking about.
I know we were talking about like, women have options, and then I was men don't.
What we were saying, just to give you the little brief synopsis, is that part of the reason we're in like a situationship culture is because social media has given people way more options than they had before. So people are way less likely to just kind of immediately get into that, like that title. Status. They're much more like, we'll talk for an extended amount of time, because I'm also talking to like A, B, C, D.
People want to hedge their bets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they gotta do auditions. They gotta do these American Idol auditions. This nigga ain't gonna make it to the next round. This nigga gotta compete against this nigga.
I think we talk about so much stuff now on social media so openly. I think a lot of people like fantasy their minds is like the expectations might be way, 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 way high. You just you constantly living this life waiting for these things that aren't realistically.
It's the fantasy world.
The delusion of grandeur is like at an all-time high.
That's true. The delusion of grandeur is out of control. I believe that.
I mean, you could kind of blame us for that, because you got to remember when we, I know for me and Dwayne, I think we're all about the same age. We started in the Black Planet era,
yes, we did.
MySpace era,
the BBM. Remember BBM?
Facebook era, the tagged era. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of all of us, and that's what started all this. I wasn't the type to be hollering at nobody on Facebook, but that was a craze back in Norfolk State. They're like, "What? You think I'm about to go walk all the way over to Spartan Suites from the towers?" Man, please. I'll just talk to her on Facebook, and then we get at her.
Nikki, what's your perspective on like situationships? Like, do you feel like that's kind of the culture now, to have like situationships instead of relationships?
Yeah, because nobody wants commitment. They want to switch to the next person and want to be, they want to be freely to move with this one and that one. So they'll be like, "Oh, I talk to you," because they want to talk to someone else too.
Right.
That's what it is.
Or they'll do something crazy like, You know what I'm saying? They be going raw for mad long, and then like right at that special moment, they're like, you know what? I'm so glad we're friends.
That's how you get mad.
Well, you know what? That's very nuanced that you say that, because the friend zone thing, I think women and men have like different perspectives about like what friend zoning is.
Oh yeah.
A dude will try and talk to you consistently. You'll consistently let him know that it's just not happening. But then he'll say you friend zoned him. But it's just like, you just don't know how to read signals. Like there's a difference, you know, like you could be cool. You could be someone that like, I don't mind having a conversation with. That doesn't automatically insinuate romantic interest. But a lot of guys just feel like, oh, I'm just on the back burner. As soon as she loses that front runner, like I'm in there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm sitting on the bench. Just give me again. Go again. Yeah. So as far as my take on situationships, I think it's just about the instant gratification culture that came with social media and the internet in general. It's about having cake and eating it too. You know, like I can talk to all these people that may not know about each other. And you know, I got all these options. Like, you know, back in the day, back in my grandparents' day, you had your family, you had you another family, and they never met unless they want to.
No, they had the whole secret family in the same town.
You know why? You know why they were able to do that though? You know why they were able to do that? They didn't have cell phones like we had them. See, you couldn't track them.
Where you at? It wasn't no FaceTime and you in the bed with somebody else. Like it wasn't that. But that's where we said the accessibility thing made a huge difference.
Like females didn't trip back in the day if you missed a phone call. Oh well, I'm getting not home.
Right. You called back a week later and like, oh, you got my message.
My grandma was like, back in the day, like, we was giving out phone numbers. If I saw you again, I saw you again. That's how I knew it was fate. I'm like,
what?
Y'all niggas got fate.
Right. Just leaving it up to God. Damn. She said, if God wants you to talk to me, God gonna put you back.
It's like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Right. Nothing in between. That, I mean, it makes a big difference though, because like you said, people want to have their cake and eat it too. They're like, well, normally back in the day, they would see this girl and be like, oh my God, like, when am I ever going to have a chance like this again? Now they're like seeing all these women on Instagram, so they're getting this delusion that like, oh, I just have access to all these women, so why would I just settle on this one?
It's like you shopping for people, for real.
Exactly.
Like,
that's a good analogy right there.
You just scrolling, just shopping. Oh, I like this. I like this about
and those people are ranked. Like by like likes. Like, yes. Oh, she got 5 stars.
Yeah, that's some premium. That's some premium.
That's a premium.
I hate online dating.
My IG thotty right there.
That's a premium right there.
Speaking of IG thotty,
it's true.
What are we living in right now?
I don't know.
What are we
You know, now they got it even virtual now. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole OnlyFans, and I'm like, yo, I can't even imagine paying my hard-working money just to see something on my phone. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not mad at nobody for getting their coins. So if you participate in stripper culture in real life, you might as well participate in
Bro, if I pay $30 just to see you fry some fish, son.
I heard chicks is cashing out off of feet pics, but anyway.
Right. Look.
Man.
Okay.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of lanes out here.
I've seen some DMs. If a dude DMs you and it's like, I will literally pay you $5,000 for like a foot picture with a white pedicure, my ass would be on the first thing fucking steaming into the nail salon.
I mean,
you can't even identify it back to me. Like, there's no like federal foot database that someone could be like, oh, you.
Hey, hold on a second.
She got paid
$5
$5,000
for racks. I'm sending for $5 racks.
I'd be like, Malcolm, go get your pedicure. Malcolm,
for $5 racks.
Let me set the stage for this foot pic. Pull out your finest.
Dog, I'm not doing that for $5. I'm just.
I mean, I'm just going to go to beverages, honestly, but you know.
Doing that, I just want to let that be known. $5 million, I might do it.
Right.
Now I'm
I've seen that on Twitter, and the person tweeted it and said, "God, I see what you've done for others."
Do it for me.
Do it for me.
Do it for me.
Oh no, I'm just playing.
Sorry.
But now, like I was saying with IG thotties or whatever, these videos that leaked. Well, this video that leaked, not leaked, but it was released. This chick on I think it's a show called something. It's a show where it looks like there's people from porn on it, and they have interviews and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there was these two chicks over there. One of them was saying like, well, huh?
Like a show for sex workers type thing.
I guess. I mean, I'm not like. I think I may have seen like another episode with Tiana Trump on it.
Oh, okay, well, yeah.
Yeah. But I guess he's one of
Hey guys, I'm back.
Hey.
Sorry about that. You see here.
Oh, you got a little baby.
Okay.
Yeah, right now.
A little baby.
Where?
Nah, because I'm just about to say something that I don't want this baby to hear.
I know
So.
how it is, brother.
The baby don't understand, DJ.
The baby.
This is
Keep in there. We understand.
So,
Man, I was talking to some of my students. One of them told me her favorite song is WAP. She loves Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion. And I was like, I bet that's your mother.
How old is she?
she just
This student had to be
almost
maybe 7 or
almost a month.
7?
Oh, well. No, I was disturbed by what he said, but congratulations for the baby.
Yeah.
Oh, newborn baby. But no, that's disturbing what you just said. But
congratulations to
what
you.
said.
That's disturbing.
That is terrifying. But congratulations.
To you.
So yeah, what so yeah, this they had these two chicks on there, and one of them was like on her birthday, she had you think your son goes somewhere? She basically she had a fun time with I guess 7 NBA players and like I guess
Whoa.
The 8 person like worked with the team.
Whoa.
He said he worked with the team.
That's
I was the coach, but
that's superhead
the
levels.
legend.
okay.
And the thing was that they was like, oh, so you know, how was that? She goes, oh, it was lit, but I passed out afterwards, which
What?
that seemed like the story, the way she told it seemed like the R word adjacent. But I mean, she was just like, because she said she was smacked, and she just did what she did. She engulfed the innards of those young men, and
Each one.
yeah, and then she passed out, and I don't know. It just seems like it seemed a little wild. But then she also said she told the story about Mr. Trigger Trey. And how?
Oh, see now I already know what you're talking about. Now I was wondering.
Oh, this is what everybody's talking about with Trey Songz. Why
I
they
don't
mad?
know if this is a situationship conversation or a consent conversation. I think.
But the thing is, I'm just saying this is like this is part of the landscape of the dating culture. May not be for regular niggas like us.
Okay.
I wouldn't say this is the dating culture. They are sex workers. That's a whole different topic. They're sex workers. Now, I'm not saying anything against that. Like, I have no problem with sex workers, like, because I mean, men have been paying for sex for thousands of years. But I'm just saying, I don't think that and like the dating culture are like the situationship thing is like the same.
Right.
Like I think that's a whole other thing. Like
allegedly, she said that she didn't get paid for it. It was
no. What she said, well, we don't even have to get that deep.
I don't want to go deep into what she said.
Right, that's why I was trying not to get that deep into it. So she consented to certain things and not other things. And his behavior was sketchy in certain ways, kind of, he already had that story out from someone who I believe and respect very much, Keke Palmer, about his kind of creep behavior and taking the phone and trying to
not
force her
Keke's.
into a music video that she didn't really want to participate in. She got so scared she hid, Right. And like Keke's not someone who for clout would need to make up such a story. This is years ago, whatever. But these girls are now saying very similar things. He's taking my phone away. I agreed to do this, but then he did some R. Kelly type things that I did not sign up for. So I don't know if that really has to do with situationships or entanglements. I think when we get into our consent or those type of conversations, that's more of like, what I'm saying? Like that type.
Keke's a little extra, so it's kind of hard to kind of go off of some of the things that she says because she has a very extra personality.
Just because she has a big personality doesn't mean she has any reason to accuse.
No, I'm not saying the big personality. When I say extra, I mean she's like super dramatic.
Extra on the regular, but like a situation
like she's extra, but she's never said like someone stole my phone and I was so scared I hid in a closet. Like that's not extra. That's kind of like that's kind of like
yeah, that's true. But
that's
then I mean, it's just it's like a pattern with her because like she has a whole thing with August Alsina supposedly that never happened. So that's
it never happened though, according to Alsina, because he's troubled. So
well, yeah, that's true.
I feel like people don't believe. I hate to give this. See, now we're getting into a whole.
We had DJ all over the place right now. We need to press as the coach.
DJ, get us back on course. Get us back on course.
All right. So relationship. So Justin, you said that in your mind that's kind of like somebody that's like someone that like lives together or something like that, but you don't have like an official title. April, you said it's more so like we're just kind of, you know, going with the flow, no official whatever. It's very abstract.
Right.
It's very abstract. Yeah, calling a relationship abstract.
I came up real nice.
Yeah.
When you say what are we, and he said, we
we like a Jackson Pollock. We just whatever. It's up to her.
I will say this: when I give game to younger men, because I'm always encouraging them to kind of focus on themselves and not necessarily abstain from sex, but I do think that we place way too much focus on it.
Right.
I will tell a young man that I do think for young men of stature, a situationship is the best for you because you should not settle at all. So I think sometimes you will hold a woman in these places because in order for you to commit to her, she needs to show certain things that you want in someone that you're going to commit to. So I would advocate, you can hold her to that space or tell her she can always leave if she's not met those, those buckets. And I would tell her sister.
If they're communicating that, then I agree with you. Right. I think the difference is with some young men is the communication factor is they just don't tell the girl. They just kind of insinuate things. And then when the girl's like, well, oh my gosh, you slept with so-and-so. He's like, you're not my girl. So I think that's where the difference. Right.
That's the accountability part.
We're together. We live together, nigga.
What
you mean?
We live PlayStation, nigga.
I have a promise ring. A promise ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't speak for those guys. Those are clowns.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. I think it's just like we keep them in that gray area. And I remember one time
it's not a gray area. Like buying promise rings, living together. These are relationship things. These are
that's a relationship. But people be having whole relationships and refuse to call it a relationship. Right. I think that's what you're talking about. Right. This is about honorable men.
Wait, hold on. What you say there?
Promise rings? Come on, son. Promise rings. Tiffany Evans promise rings? Is that what we're doing? Nah, fam. Nah.
No promise rings? He's like,
nah, son. I say it like this. I feel like with the situationship, it's definitely something like it has to grow to something like that. Like my favorite song actually is by Fabulous is called Situationship.
I'll bring it up. I was waiting for someone else to bring it up.
You know what I'm saying? It's a complicated relationship. It's a complicated relationship with a person that you really do care about, but I think it's more so on both sides to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Because even with the female, we could say as guys, like, you're not my girl, but when a girl reciprocates that same energy, we get real pissed. You know what I'm saying? So
clutching.
Now, speaking for the mind of the basic nigga out there.
Right, because you got a couple woke niggas. So DJ, give us the ratchet
representation
niggas.
matters.
Represent the ratchet niggas.
I try to be, all things to all niggas. So I really feel like in the basic nigga mind, the basic Negro brain, it's just like, yo, I work for these cheeks. What you mean? They have a sense of entitlement for that.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying it's right or wrong.
I work.
What do you mean work?
But they have a sense of entitlement. They feel like, oh, I worked for this. I pursued you. I did whatever. And they have that false sense of entitlement. Women just to get a nigga, all I gotta do is just kind of like, look okay, and not even look okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. I will say this: it's a little cover the baby's ears, but like dick is free, so.
Yeah, I got headphones on. She don't even understand what you're saying.
I shorty with the peg leg. You know what I mean? Like
he had to get up.
This is faded away.
Into the ocean.
Faded away.
All see the palm tree right now.
I'm sorry.
Yes. I mean, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so I mean, again, like have a full sense of entitlement with that, and then I think sometimes when women are in relationships, or what they feel is a relationship, but he may not have communicated that as a relationship. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, I did all this, I spent all this time, whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm giving all this energy, I'm getting up all these jams, like. Nigga, you mine. That's. I feel like that's
okay.
One area where I had messed up in the past is by just assuming, but not getting that like consolidated answer.
Right.
Because you feel like you're playing the girlfriend role, you're doing the girlfriend.
You gotta speak up.
You know what I'm saying? But like it's never like spoken. You just assume it's like there, and then when you find out it's not, then you're the hurt one. And then I think it goes the other way too, where men, I think we're used to girls like trying to like pick me their way into a relationship. And when they realize she's like, it's not that deep, men cannot take that. Like when a man wants like a relationship and he realizes that a woman feels like it's not that deep, that's where I feel like you see like the real emotions come out where they're like,
yeah. And
it's honestly
that can be dangerous, honestly. And that's
what it's honestly like it's like a race. Like it's like a race to see who's gonna fall for who first. You know what I'm saying? Like I say for me, I'll take my situation, right? Mm-hmm. I had a situation in college where I was dealing with this chick.
Oh, damn.
And she's talking about she wanted a relationship, and then I stopped talking to her for like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Stopped talking to her for 2 weeks. Came back, she was like, hey, I'm sorry, I
social distance.
My bad about how, say I know I pushed you away, but I really need somebody I need to be with right now. So came back into the picture.
Yeah.
But come back around.
All right, I'm just trying, like, I'm like,
distracting her.
I'm like, he's doing all the right thing. He is burping that baby. He got the blanket on his shoulder.
We just got distracted by cuteness. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. And then come back around, I had another instance where I got into it with a chick, and she had told me that, though this is going too good, so I don't think that this is going to work out because this is going too well. And I was like, what?
That's trauma. That's trauma. The problem is women have had too many, not all women, but women have had too many instances of getting their hopes really up, and then like something pops that balloon, and that's the worst feeling. And she was like, not today.
Not ready for it.
Right. Not saying it was the right reaction, but that's a trauma reaction.
This is going
That's
too well.
When we talk about dating, though, we can't negate how much trauma like people all have. Like a lot of us carry a lot of this until like our adult lives. Like I think I talk about it sometimes, on the podcast. Like how many times when we were younger were we all really nice guys to girls and they shitted on us. So we got older, the thing started hanging and we was like, nah, fuck that. We're not gonna be nice to you, bitch. You like when we talk to you this way. Right. You open them legs up too. When I call you a bitch, when I told you a lady, or with you flowers, you shitted on me. So now it's like a pit bull. Like you bred us this way.
And it's also men projecting like their experiences though with like pubescent women onto grown women though. You know what I'm saying? Like being a nice guy to a 12-year-old girl who's so awkward and nervous and she rejects you. Like I told Malcolm this story when I was in middle school. This boy asked me to go to like a dance or something in class. And like I told him no, and like my friends laughed at him, but I wasn't being mean. I was just like no, because I was just not interested. And later that day, that nigga pushed me down the stairs. Like, he literally pushed me down the stairs, like, because
and I'm still looking for that nigga right now, cuz. Yo, cuz, where you at, cuz? I'ma fight that nigga right.
Oh my God. Anyways. His little child rejection reaction was like violence. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that made me more submissive, as I got older, because I thought like that rejection got reacted to with violence. You know what I'm saying? So it like kind of that goes both ways. Like there's some dudes like that were the nice guy and they feel like they got shat on, so then they try and do the pimp player thing and they feel like that worked for them, and then like the vice versa, you know. So it's just, we, like you said, we all had like a lot of weird shit happen when we were young, and we grew up in New York. Well, not just in New York, but in the early 2000s, like pre-internet, post-internet. Like I feel like our generation had a really weird.
Everybody needs therapy. For real, like straight up. That's another thing that like everybody needs like somebody to talk to. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of shit that like people have gone through, and you don't realize it until you've gotten older, and you be like, damn.
Why do I react like that?
I was like, wait, I was low key abused. You know, like I need some. I should go seek therapy.
Bro,
You know,
I mean, that's
a lot of people aren't, on that level.
That's honestly the real thing, though, because especially for me, I'll say for me personally, growing up, I have felt a certain type of way. I lost my virginity at a very young age to an older woman or somebody older than me, and that gets a lot of guys caught up in a lot of these situations, And the same thing can happen with vice versa with the females,
Because a girl that's in high school is glamorized to get sought after by older men. Now that we're adults, we see how predatory that is. Right. But when you're a 14 or 15-year-old girl, you're like, oh my gosh, like this college guy, likes me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you see how both ways it just creates this lifelong, like fucking trauma spiral. And then we all take it out on each other instead of anybody like solving their internal issues. Because I mean, outside of situationships, I'm a firm believer that when you're operating at 100%, you run into people that are operating at 100%. Right. Yeah. And instead of it being like, I need you to complete me, I'm 50, and I need you to be 50, it's like we're 100, 100.
Right. There you go.
Now we're building each other instead of like, trying to fill some sort of void or hole with the situationship. Like you had said before, a lot of times it is two people who care deeply about each other, but they just can't get it together. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they didn't fix those issues, and they're just trying to like fill some void with each other, or they just can't get it together, and then it just doesn't work.
Trauma bond. These relationships are trauma bond.
Yeah.
Love you. Love me. I hurt.
Trauma will bond you for sure.
Oh, I'm so hurt.
He loves company.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, man.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
Okay.
Kind of beat this situationship to,
Okay.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the whole concept of I guess the open relationship thing, or like / entanglement.
Because I kind of think situations lead or the lack of them sometimes is why you end up in these entanglements, open relationships,
Right.
So I always
create an entanglement, child.
that behavior, like people are gonna act out of a need regardless.
Yeah.
Rationalize it however you want. If there's a need that's not being met, behavior is going to suit out to get that fulfilled. I do think some of us have more sex drive than others. You guys I think sexual chemistry is something that we just don't talk about enough because
and compatibility
around it. But I mean, if you guys don't have that, if it's lacking there, on either side, at some point, somebody's gonna go get that fulfilled. You know what I mean?
Right.
The things gotta get filled.
Yeah, I think what that is us basing what we think we want as far as the sexual chemistry on what we're told, like through, rap or whatever. Everybody want a nympho till they get one. Then it's like, I gotta go to work. And she's like, I don't care. Feel good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, like we're being told what we want and not really realizing what we want for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So
because people's levels got to match. You have to. Yeah. People are trying to force like a square into a triangle, like not being compatible with each other, because they just want to build this image of like a lifestyle that doesn't really exist because of what they see on the internet. Like it could be the two most beautifulest people. I mean, don't mean they're gonna have good sex, right? It truly don't. Like, and it's also about experience too. Like these older dudes finding younger girls, they don't have sexual experience. You know what I'm saying? Like a young woman versus a more mature woman, the sexual experience gap is huge. So these dudes then are like, okay, I got my trophy wife, but she don't know how to do the things that this, 35-year-old knows how to do. And so I feel like it goes kind of, there's so many ways where those relationships go haywire. You know what I'm saying?
Another thing I gotta throw in there. When it comes to women, you see, women mature faster than men, but I tell people, I hate to say this, and no offense, ladies, it's like a woman, it's like your value though, a man continues to his life, it's like wine, it just ages over time. There's no end to us. Women biologically, after 40,
I'm trying to follow it.
There's, you guys, some of y'all at least be racing to get your kids. Like the mode is different. Whereas a man, I could bullshit around till I'm 40 and finally have my shit together, want to have a kid, all that.
But then that means you're going to have to find a woman that's going to want to do the same thing because
that turns y'all into predators. That's such a thing that hold on, wait. That's 20 things. I'm not coming at him at all. Right. I hear what he's saying about biology. Okay.
Yeah, from a superficial standpoint, I get it also.
From a strictly biological standpoint, yes, women are more ready to have children a bit younger than men. Yeah. But the problem is that women seem to advance a lot faster than y'all financially, business-wise, education-wise. Men will take advantage of that for a very long time and then decide that they want a slimmy young thing to like.
Why is that though?
Why
is that though?
Men, because
you say women, you say men, you mean black men. Like I will say, most times it will be females that do better as far as financially and everything else as far as ahead of most of the black men.
No, because he's talking about age and biology, so I'm talking about age and like where you're at in like a relationship status. You know what I'm saying? Like statistics have shown that yes, women are more in their like, I guess if you're talking about childbearing, which is very archaic, but whatever, like childbearing prime, like a little bit younger than men. And yes, y'all, I guess don't get as mature as women until y'all get a little bit older.
Yeah. We don't have to.
It's like men feel like from 25 to 35 they could just be wild bachelors, and then when they're 35 they're like, oh, women who are my age, y'all are spent up, so I'm gonna go find me a 25-year-old.
You gotta think about those teachers too.
That's like
something a little bit.
What's kind of
I think what it really is not necessarily a maturing thing. It's like how everyone is socialized. We're socialized to, as men, to play these games. Like, you know what? I'm gonna start. We act like athletes that's going to the league, and then all of a sudden I get hurt. Let me settle down now. I thought I'm not a.
So you think that like women are ready to settle down younger, but men like need to reach their peaks later?
Yes, because that's how we're
supposed to settle down.
Yes, that's how we're socialized. It may,
I need more help with what you said. I need more help with what you said.
Like,
I also don't think it's just. I don't think it's just negative socialization either, because like, for example, my dad always told me like, son, if you want to make it in this world, you're going to have to limit your focus on women. Successful men don't juggle women. Like, look at Bill Gates, look at all the men that are power
until
people.
Later.
You don't see them constantly around women. The guys that you see with a bunch of women, they're going to fall, and they always do, because that just leads to trouble. It leads to bad decision making. It just puts you in bad spaces. Mm-hmm. But if you're focused on your thing, you don't really have time for it. Like,
I think that's with men and women, though. I don't think that's like gender specific. Right. I think that if you go boy crazy, that you're gonna end up in a lot of the same challenges than a nigga that's like going like woman crazy. But what my question is to what you said is, are you saying that like, okay, so the man chills out till he's like 35 or 40, but now a woman is like past her prime? Is that what you're trying to say? And that's why y'all like go to the younger women? Because I'm trying to understand what you're.
We ain't never past our prime. That's how I feel.
I mean, because you said men age like fine wine, and that just sounds backwards for what
women definitely age like fine wine. Especially
you gotta understand, you're dealing with some.
You can't be using that kind of vernacular in here.
You're dealing with some women in this chat. You know, we got.
Of course, you know, black in general ages, you know, amazingly. Absolutely. Yeah. What I'm saying is that when you look at like a social group in general, women, you guys are doing well at 20. You know what I'm saying? You're now the highest, you know, educated social group. So yeah, you guys are doing well from the start. Whereas men,
not like psychologically, maybe as like clubbing goes, but not like financially or psychologically or anything. You know, women don't generally get into their bag until their 30s, I would say. Like the 20s are for learning and discovery. You know what I'm saying? Like making mistakes, failing, testing, all those things. I think it's not until women get into their 30s that we start to, you know, recognize our value, place boundaries, you know, resolve childhood traumas, get out from under those predators. When you're a 21-year-old female, you got a 35-year-old man with 14 years of life experience on you, you know, grooming you, controlling you. You are not in a place psychologically where you understand all of the predatory behavior that's happening. That same 35-year-old man can't run that same scheme on a 35-year-old woman. So to me, that's more of the reason why I see those older men going for those young girls. Because when I was young, I was dumb. Right. You know, you grow, you learn, and you know, you establish more boundaries. You start to realize the dynamics of social interaction and all of that. So I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you kind of get what I'm saying a little bit?
And to piggy off that, like, I said this a minute ago, but like on Twitter, you know, my famous place where all my memoirs are kept. Like,
on Twitter.
It's very
like, what's the prerequisite for like, you know, someone that's like 35 is considered a luxury for someone that's like 21. So like, you don't know any better. Like, oh, he does this, he does that. I'm like, yeah, because like he knows better.
Right.
He knows it's gonna be like the bee's knees. Like, you know what I mean?
They're dealing with 21-year-old men who are like sharing like 8 people to one apartment.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
wearing sweatpants every day and all sharing a PlayStation, you know. So to them, they're like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'm kind of leery, like at 35, because I'm 34. What are you doing with a 21-year-old?
It don't make sense to me. Like older dudes that be going like, oh, I want somebody that's 20. Like I want somebody that's 21, 19. Like that shit is like a red flag to me. Like that is like, what are you doing?
Oh, you're controlling somebody.
First of all, I'm gonna say, because no one's gonna say it, young girls are annoying. So. Like young people
in general are
annoying.
Yeah,
to me.
But like just overhearing conversations. So I decided to go back to school. You know, past my it's not a spring chicken. I'm just hearing like these young girls talk. And I'm just like, ew.
It's just like, what are y'all not even talking about?
Well, to me, it's power dynamics because like knowledge is power. And with age comes wisdom. And when you're older, you know better. You could do better, but also you could do way worse. You know what I'm saying? Like we assume that people who have bad intentions are like, no, people who have bad intentions could be brilliant. You know what I'm saying? And older men understand the difference in a power dynamic with them and a young 20-something. They understand that they have way more power in a situation. They have way more room for manipulation. They have way more financial, you know, maybe stature or like tenure at their job. So like, I mean, just like you was talking about with older women and young Black boys, that is a huge problem. And it's a power dynamic thing because when you're older than someone, you are intrinsically more powerful than them as far as the way your mind works. Like, and that's just fucking science, you know, outside of like, you know, the social and, you know, all that stuff, that's science.
Oh, and not only just a social, you also got to think about like the imagery and the stuff that we was dealing with around that time too. Like we came up like our heroes being like these entertainers that like, you know what I'm saying?
They was teaching
big pimping and want to be all this type of stuff, you know?
So much bad stuff.
Who else had to unlearn
the real world.
Right.
What else is there?
Unlearn
Love and hip hop. all types of toxic stuff that gives you an idea of what a relationship is, but it's not really what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because like back in my parents' day, you know, being a pimp was something that you were supposed to be ashamed of. Being a pimp was like a pejorative term.
Right.
And then Snoop Dogg was like, I be pimping these hoes, baby.
Jordan. All right.
And then, you know, that, you know, Mr. Cannon saying he was a gigolo.
I'm a
Man, that song is so hot. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Especially them damn flutes.
Yeah, that flute was hitting though.
It's true.
Yes.
It was.
It's true.
Well, we were socialized to do these things.
Yeah.
We were socialized in one of the most ratchet ways I feel like that has ever happened. Like
so
ever.
Bad.
Like our generation.
And I feel like it's like a
Like, why did I know the words to Trina songs when I was like,
yes, I was just about to bring it up.
That's a problem.
We had Trina, Little Kim, Foxy Brown. Come on, like.
Yes.
Yeah, Foxy Brown was so
Foxy
cute.
Brown.
She was talking about being
Men
the
and women, we were all hypersexualized when we were young, and that contributed to these
I feel like
situations.
it's not the same thing though. I really strongly disagree with a lot of that because people try to make that, but I feel like our generation we had discernment, and I feel like people really don't recognize that.
Not everybody.
I think your circle might have discernment, but if you
Not
look at
everybody.
the way these young people are, I don't know how much discernment they have. I agree with you as far as like maybe.
For example, people talk about the WAP song. Well, they were playing Trina things back then. Yo, Trina's song was not on the radio #1. The video was not going to be on TRL. It was on BET Uncut. Yes, I know it's on TV, but guess what? I knew in my mind that I'm not supposed to watch this. That's why it came on after dark. I knew that I wouldn't play this with my mom because it came on.
That's more
Right, but that is
the
not
network and the distribution of it than the
And
actual
your parents wasn't
children.
gonna play that for you either. Like I told you, I know a kid in elementary school. Her favorite song is WAP. You want to know why? Because her mom put her onto it. And in fact, her mom is even comfortable with her saying it in front of her.
Yeah, but when I was like in middle school, we were on the bus talking about give me that phone, that sweet, that nasty,
No, but
stuff like it don't stop
but you're
kids from
missing it.
getting
You were on the school bus.
Chris,
I want to lick you from your head to your toes.
And like,
No, what he's saying
They
is
just do
true
it.
from a
Yes.
media perspective.
Yes.
I agree with you actually from a media
Right.
perspective. They are much more widely distributing that to like the masses. It's more accessible to kids, especially with the internet, because we did not have that. So
we didn't have that.
You're
back
100%
then.
right about that. But I don't know if the undergroundness of it stopped it from getting to anybody in the hood ever at any point. And
But
I don't we had
it's not about stopping it and getting it to
I
the
think to us it was more naughty, like, oh, the adults don't know we know.
Right,
So we're by ourselves. We can be like, you know, like
Yeah.
we were more secretly ratchet.
Yes, there was some
Kids
cool.
are more overtly
Right.
ratchet.
Yeah.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. In being overt, there's a consciousness that you know right from wrong. If
Right.
it's
Yeah.
publicized and it's out there, then is it right or wrong? It's probably okay.
So I see what you're saying. So like the lines
That's
are blurred right now.
modify how you have.
The lines are blurred, yeah.
Very
The
good.
internet is fucking everything up, and I think they're trying to normalize pedophilia.
You know why? You know why the lines are blurred? Because back when we was coming up, we used to talk about a lady in the streets with a freak in the bed. They ain't talk about it no more. It's just everybody just outright freak now. And it's like, yo, like,
And
come on, man.
I'm saying as a feminist, like I love like nasty women shit. Like I love women owning their sexuality. I love that culture because I think like men are gonna objectify you regardless. So women who are comfortable with being that way, I have no problem with that. But I 100% agree that it's so strange that like people are just completely okay with like little girls and little children like singing these songs and dancing to them. It's just like,
It's not okay.
like
Look,
where's y'all stop button at?
you
Because
should
there
not-
has to be
I think it is.
we're adults, okay? As an
Yes.
adult, will I twerk to some WAP or something? Hell yeah. When I'm with my friends and we're drunk, yes, because we're
Yes.
grown. Do I think a 12-year-old needs to be doing
But
it?
yes,
No,
the thing
absolutely
is,
not. Like,
do not let the internet raise your children.
Right.
Period. You
What are you
know
gonna
what I'm saying?
stop crying?
Like I see a lot of people be having a problem with like WAP and like, you know, saying this and that. But the bottom line is like it's not meant for kids. Don't let your kid
like they released it in the middle of the
you
night
should
for a
be
reason.
parenting your kid. You should have
Right.
supervision on what your kid is seeing on the internet. So like
stand against
What?
the WAP.
You got to turn the radio off too, killer, because it's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really nowhere you can go.
True too.
But if you listen to some back in the day songs, they were saying some nasty ass shit.
That's true.
I don't think the nasty
Very true.
ever stopped. I think this is just more of a
there used to be.
They give more of a visual now. Than they
There used to be a tactfulness about it. You know what I'm saying? Or like a.
All the time they want to throw out like major rap artists. Well, he made this song. I'm like, yo, like somebody came for Tupac. I'm like, yo, are you kidding me? Bro, Tupac made Brenda's Got a Baby. Tupac's got Keep Your Head Up.
It was
Tupac
we can talk about the
I Get Around. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a song.
They got two sides. We could criticize and uplift without canceling people. I could say like this was bad and this was good without saying like we need to get rid of this whole person. But also, I will say men have been allowed to say these things for decades, but as soon as a woman says it becomes a huge problem. It's true. Standard. There is a double standard when literally the day before WAP dropped, we're all on Versus. There's strippers twerking. We're singing, I got a fucking problem and money cash hoes.
Nobody was saying
Nobody
shit.
said a single
thing.
You know
what the problem with the statement is? The problem with your statement is that
women came out with like, I have this.
They had to go through to get to that point. When rap music first came out, they had the FBI silencing them. They had the black community coming.
What does that have to do with sexuality and women? That's not what we're talking about.
But no, because the problem is, I feel like everybody gets in a bag when people start to criticize a little bit, and it's like, yo, everybody got criticized. The men got criticized a lot too. They don't get criticized as much now because the media and everybody has bought into it. But
in general, like what's DJ? In general, overall, men do not get criticized for their misogynistic lyrics the way women get criticized for their sexuality. Men can objectify women with.
2 Live Crew got something from the FBI. It doesn't get any more ratings than that.
That is true.
I will say this:
they got a gag order.
But
a true New Yorker.
I do remember. I want to say it was like maybe the early to late '90s. It's a blur, Ritalin did some things to me. No, I'm playing, but I do remember like a lot of times, like a lot of black women, like elders and stuff like that, coming against like rap music, like the misogyny and stuff like that.
Yeah, the elders were for sure.
They was not.
They wasn't gonna stand.
The elders don't fuck with any of this culture at all. Right. They still don't. Like they still don't. Ask my mom right now. She not supposed to.
My mom too.
My grandmother hated that song "Contagious," but that song was my shit.
They're not co-signing none of this. I think what we were saying as women is that there will be song after song after song that's like a strip club banger, right? But it's all by men. It's all about strippers. It's all about booty and twerking. But then when a woman comes out with a song about herself doing those same things, there seems to be more of a male uproar. And I'm not talking about like as far as children and all that, like excluding like that.
One of the things that I feel like is that doesn't get talked about enough is look at who likes these songs. It's usually the women that like the songs by that artist, like the Tupac.
We love twerking.
He made that song.
We love shaking our butts. That's what y'all understand. We want to own our sexuality. So we love female sexual empowerment. So that's why women love Trina. That's why women have loved Kim. That's why women love Cardi and Megan, all that. We enjoy it. It's fun. It expresses ourselves. We're not saying that's for children or anything like that. So like that conversation aside, I'm not are like, look, you can have you a Cardi or you can have you a Lauryn Hill. You know what I'm saying? Like men love.
I'm just trying to bring some sense to like why it seems like men always attack women when they have these songs, but male artists make them songs. The men don't make those songs. Candy Shop was not made for me. Candy Shop was made for you, and you are the one that streams it. I don't buy music. Black men, we're the lowest demographic that supports artists. It's white people and it's black women. Y'all buy, a woman in general, y'all buy those records. So every rap artist, Nas made Uchiwali, he made You Owe Me, that was to help get the sales up. We didn't want to hear that shit. We actually made
Wait, you been in the club, you a liar.
Hey.
If you listen to 50 Cent's book, he says, I knew what they want.
Love what niggas said. You remember 50 Cent?
Wait for that song to come on the club because y'all know exactly what women gonna do when it comes on.
Men live for that shit.
Little Yachi.
some men,
act up.
They do make the records better. And that was just like a cash cow for, I mean, why is Drake number one?
I'm about to reach.
Okay.
When DJ reaches,
everybody prepare yourselves.
So I think on a metaphysical standpoint,
There you go.
that, you know, a lot of these misogynistic records, or not really misogynistic, but, you know, sexually explicit songs out there, they always had like a man behind it. Yeah, there were women in the video, there's always a man there. But now that they don't have that, that's like having a prostitute without a pimp.
Ooh.
So
Yeah,
that's women are
what I was trying to get to. Yes, absolutely.
They're becoming their own.
Amazing. Get your coins, sis.
Oh,
Get that man. Get your coins 100% instead of keeping 30%. Give 70% to a man.
Personally, I'm all for it.
Nicole, give me a
I never liked those
right. Because fuck the middleman. Listen, men are going to sexualize women. Okay? If you're ever a girl, everywhere you go, no matter what you do, at any time, at any point in your life, men are constantly and consistently sexualizing you, regardless of if you want to or not. You can wear a muumuu, you can wear jeans and a t-shirt, you can wear booty shorts, you can wear anything, everything, anything. Men will always find a way to sexualize you. They will always find a way. You could go to the gas station. You could go to the grocery store. You go to the bakery.
Darian got something to say.
You could go
to
High Street, Low Street, Wall Street, Chanel, Prada, Louis, France.
Men is the same situation.
What?
They do the man and the woman dominated office.
Huh?
They do it to men too. Don't do that.
That happens when you're like.
I'm talking about the sexualization of women with men. We're talking about like misogyny, because men don't have like reverse misogyny. That's like a major thing. Like that's ruining their lives, like how women have.
It's huge.
There's
Sandra is huge right now.
Like
now,
men can walk down the street.
Y'all can walk down the street
wearing whatever
and feel safe,
and be okay. Like,
generally,
nobody's gonna approach us.
I can go outside right now.
With some leggings on and my
New
dick
York
out,
City
somebody's gonna call something on me. That is not gonna be acceptable. I'm gonna say that right now.
Wait, what you say?
Leggings on and a dick print, just boom out there. That shit is not gonna be cool.
Wait, a dick print. I said we could listen, but I could wear a burlap sack. I'm not talking about always being hypersexual. I'm saying it doesn't matter what you wear as a woman. Right, Nicole? You could be at the gas station in sweatpants with no makeup in the middle of the night and still be terrified because men will still sexualize you. Is what we're saying.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And
true.
the threat to us is threat level 10 because y'all got brute strength. Brute strength is the number one difference between men and women, is that y'all can fuck us up. That's the difference. Like, you know what I'm saying? If women can fuck y'all up to an equal rate, then maybe the conversation would be as
I don't
equal.
think a lot of men.
And women rate men. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. What I'm saying is brute strength makes a huge.
We're supposed to be talking about situationships and
entanglements. Situationships, Malcolm.
We're talking about entanglements.
I will say this, you know, just to back what April was saying.
Be a situation.
The biggest difference with, because I mean, and matter of fact, that's the year I met Darian when I was walking around campus, you know, thinking I was fly or whatever. And I was getting approached everywhere.
Wait, you was doing what?
What?
That was back. He used to dress like Neo back in the day.
I've been knowing DJ for my whole life, so I already know what you're talking about.
But when you know, when it happens to men, there's not really, you know, a clear sense of danger. Now there may be a show that's trying to line you up, but you know,
right.
That's you need to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's responsible for their own safety at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But with women, it's a clear and imminent danger. You know, that's always there. Well, not there, but it's always potentially there.
It's always there.
It's always.
Even when I go to the deli in the morning, it's there. It's there. Like women, y'all can never understand how much danger women are always in at all times. Like, but we understand. Because you can literally be buying breakfast sandwiches and understand that men are looking at your butt. And like, it's just this thing that women, we know, we sense it, we feel it.
Sorry, we're not in danger. Have you been to Atlanta?
No, I'm not always in danger.
This nigga sound heavy.
What do you mean?
This is not the shade podcast.
I am intimidated.
Honey. Okay.
Because I feel like I'm gonna have no power because I have to police myself. I can't just respond because if I'm too angry, I
understand the danger that black men face for existing in America. That's not unheard. Like we feel y'all on that. We know. Like when I send Malcolm out to the store for the smallest thing, I'm scared. You know, like he went to the liquor store. I'm like, wait, you gonna wear that black hat and that black mask that, you know, the Asian might get scared. You know, I get what you're saying. Absolutely. Like that is scary, you know. As women, it's just like, it's not just a race thing, it's like an everything. Like we're just, all of y'all are like a threat. All of y'all are a threat. But outside of that, we're talking about situationships.
We're a threat to each other.
I don't know how we got where we are.
I don't know. Like, you know what?
We all learn from each other, and that's great. I love
the biggest threat and the biggest asset to each other. Right. And it's about being more of an asset than a threat.
Yes.
Way to bring it full circle.
But I just think if you look at it as a threat, then you can never see it as an asset. It's really how you approach the world. It's
no, like, but as a woman, you have to look at it as a threat.
I will say, listen, as men are just niggas. We just have like I don't know. Like I just try to view it from a woman's perspective. Like it's scary. You know what I'm saying? Like just doing simple shit as just going to the store. You know what I'm saying? Just walking to the store, from your house to the store. It's mad niggas that just are looking at you just like men are just like, because we have that dog in us. You know what I'm saying? Like women are the feline and men, we just had that dog in us. You know, just like.
And that's not every dog will act on it. Like,
yeah, no. It is not. I'm not saying that every man acts on that, but even just like the little, like the even just the viewing can just makes like a woman feels that.
You know, and also men don't be having bad intentions all the time when they try and talk to you either. Like that's not even that. Like you know, you could see a pretty girl and have no ill intentions, right? And y'all could like, you know, say hello and try and chat her up. But if she already walked down a block and 5 other dudes or had already said something, you don't realize by the time she gets to you, she's just like, I can't do this anymore. So then you're like, oh, she's stuck up. She a bitch. And it's like, she's already like so on guard.
Or you could be walking down the street and be polite. And they'll say hi, and you say hi, but you want to keep moving. Then what F you did, bitch?
It turns angry so fast. And when you look at the way that Black women are murdered by our own, you know, it's very scary for women, men. Not saying that Black men don't have nothing to fear, because Black men got a lot to fear. You know, there's a lot of scariness out here for our whole, and we all need to take better care of each other in general. And that's why these conversations are important about like the sexualization of women and the sexualization of men, like when they're young, and what creates that mentality where they feel like everything's a conquest.
For the majority of us?
I think.
What'd you say?
Do we think the worst of us speaks for the majority of us?
I hope.
Like I hear the stats. I know the stats are real. Yes, I know that the number one killer for Black women is Black men. But do we really think that like that reflects the majority of Black men? Like
I don't think that reflects the majority of Black men, but when it's the number one killer of Black women, it's something that Black women have to take very seriously because it's a threat to their life. And that's not a benign threat. That's a very serious threat. You know, in general, domestic violence is very dangerous for women. You know, like many women are killed by domestic violence. But when you look at the statistics within your own group, it's not saying that Black men are more apt to kill women than white men, because in general, people are more likely to be killed by their own race. You know what I'm saying? So that's not even an attack on Black men, because the same way Black women are more in danger of being killed by Black men, white women are still in more danger of being killed by white men, because it's the person that they're around, it's the person they're intimate with, So that's not an attack on Black men saying that, you know, the majority of Black women, you know, the threat to them being murdered is by Black men, because it goes the same interrace in general. That's where Black on Black crime is such a farce. We all know that, because it's like in general, 99% of people are more likely to be murdered by their own race. Like, so whether, you know, black, white, or red, or whatever, you know, whatever color you claim, like, you're more likely to be killed if you're murdered by someone who's your own race, because proximity equals the crime. Also, poverty equals crime, you know, so we know these things. We know statistically and all of that, like, the reason.
You don't got to break it down for the slow class. Right. But I will say that men in general are predatory in nature. Not just as far as like on women, just like, you know, I've been in situations where niggas was trying to line me up for whatever a couple times. And it's just, again, like, just as a human being, like,
just how men are.
You just have to have your head on the swivel. Like, that's just how it is. It's just like how when animals wake up, they just know, like, yo, I only been here for like 15 minutes, but the next 15 minutes ain't promised, so I gotta, you know what I mean? Like, you just have to be able to, you know.
Anyone that follows me on my last podcast, we kind of broke down like how, like, you know, the origins of men, and I definitely don't think black people historically are beasts in their behavior.
No, not
at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's
I don't think this is out here to get you. I do think there's some sick people.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it is just America is a poisonous country.
America, listen,
it's built on bad blood and bad soil and poison and toxicity, and we see that in every race, in every iteration.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But we talking about entanglements.
Brother Malcolm bringing it back.
Because you didn't really get to talk about entanglements.
No.
Right, so
open relationships.
Yeah, so open relationships.
I want to hear what Nikki got to say.
Open relationships are shit.
Is that even like a real thing? Like, I only hear
you gotta be rich to have open relationships.
White women. I've never heard.
That's got like a neighbor that's always over there, and you wonder why they always over there. Right. That was an open relationship.
Right.
Well, because a lot of
it's not really your aunt. It never was.
Are like unknown open relationships.
Yeah, they have open relationships. The door is ajar, but it's not fully open. It's an ajar relationship.
It's a crack.
Yeah, right.
I feel like open relationships are for that's reserved.
You are
that is reserved for rich people. Okay, that's rich people shit. Okay, because everyday average Joe.
So wait.
Okay. Let you
how
try
do you feel
open
about?
relationship.
How do you feel about?
Try it.
Wait, not accidentally. How do you feel about? I want to hear from you men. How do you feel about purposeful, like, polygamy? Like, you go into it knowing that the door is open. You love your partner, but y'all have an open door. How do y'all feel about that?
I used to joke with my ex all the time. I was like, yo, baby, check this out. Like, you want to have a lot of kids and you got an ambitious career. So do I. You know, if we, me and you could have a child, and if we had another girl over here and we start having kids, we could grow like a bunch of kids together, and we're all working together. We can buy a larger house. You know what I'm saying? That gives us space.
Community.
I mean, this theoretically could work. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than just that, and I'm trying to summarize it fast. But, you know, and I joke about this over drinks, and, you know, I mean, and, you know, we had our relationship, so she knew what I was about. Clearly, I was someone that could handle that, you know, to probably couldn't handle more than one woman. That's me.
But do you think you could do it both ways, where like you could have more than one woman, but she could also have could you have a brother husband if she has a sister wife? Could you do it both ways?
So I think
like some down
so.
south.
My thing is this, right? So, so my response to her is this: it was like, well, you know, are you doing this just because you see me with other women, or are you doing this because you have a need? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have if there's another woman here, there's other kids involved. Like, we're talking about co-parenting together. Like, there's something going on. I'm not just knocking her off, you know what I'm saying? We're not just freaking off. Like, we're doing something here. Do you want another man because I'm not doing enough for you and you got that urge? Is there something I don't do?
Or maybe she can have another financial need, maybe like his career. Maybe that she could be enticed in, you know what I mean? Like, and that can add to the relationship.
But do you feel like if you had, okay, now,
I'm
actually a big believer of like community raising children. Like I'm a yogi, so I would love to start a community where we have a farm and like multiple houses on a property and different, Black families there, and we all raise our children as a community. Not saying that it has to be like polyamorous or anything. It could be separate couples. But
right, exactly.
Just with that in mind, if you were polyamorous, do you feel like if you were allowed to have maybe like 2 extra partners, would you still feel the same way if she was also allowed to have 2 extra partners? Because I see it sometimes where like the woman would allow it if she could be the one, but like she wouldn't want her man to do it, or the man would allow it if he could be the one, but he wouldn't want his woman to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So basically on some she gotta have it type of thing, or what are we talking about?
Okay,
So
She gotta have it.
that's
Bill
what
and
I
Jada
that's
have
what
an
I mean.
open relationship.
She clearly had a drive. She could handle him. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you over here, you know what I'm saying, you can't go a couple rounds with me, but you talking about bringing another nigga in, what are you talking about? Like, you just want it because I have it. But if you gotta have it sit where, you got a drive about you.
No, but it might be emotional. It might not have anything to do with sex.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that.
You might be split between 3 women emotionally, and then you're only giving her 1/3. But y'all relationship is that fluid. If she were to also want to have that intimate relationship with another man emotionally, not necessarily just about sex, would you still feel the same way? Because I think what we see a lot broadcast with polyamory is like 1 man, 5 wives, like we don't often see like the both sides where like, okay, you got 2 bitches and she got 2 niggas, like y'all both, like y'all are all like a big blended family. Look, I'm not trying to do any of it. I'm not emotionally mature for any of that, so I'm not claiming this to be at all.
So I actually think you made a good point, right? Like that's a clear need. So yes, if I'm not able to deliver on that level, then I understand why you going somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? To get that. That's something that, again, that's that need being fulfilled, and I can definitely understand that.
Right. Because I feel like infidelity is almost worse when it's emotional. No. Yeah. Like it's one thing for someone to just be a corn dog, but if someone like is like in love with someone else, you're like, more.
You love that nigga.
Prime example. There was this interview with Karen Steffens. I'm not gonna say her moniker because there's some misogyny going on in this podcast already.
Superhead? Are you talking about Superhead?
Come on now.
Cabeza de Supra. But she was like, no matter who she's with, like she's always on call for Wayne.
Oh yeah, I heard that. I was like, huh?
So now, me is just, juggling. I remember there was a time I was talking to 2 girls that had birthdays around the same time, and that was too much for me, just alone.
I was stressed out.
I'm saying? Like, and the way my personality is, like, I don't be caring. So like, it's not my ministry. That's all I can say. But I can see, as far as like, communal like building, I see that. I don't think that, the romantic aspect needs to be there per se. And I think that we're so hung up on the whole sexual aspect of it that we're missing opportunities to actually build communities. You could have an intimate relationship with somebody else that's platonic. That's what a good friend is. I would like to think.
Well, a platonic emotional relationship is very different than a romantic emotional relationship. That's like, I can have male friends that I care deeply about that are like a very good friend. Like, even like you, like, you're a very good friend. Like, I appreciate your opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's not a romantic entanglement. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different when the emotional is interacting with the love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like when it's like in love.
Yeah, and I think like it could definitely be a slippery slope because sometimes there'll just be that one day like your main is tripping and then that person saying all the right things.
I feel like that's a long that's not like a one moment situation. That's like a build.
Fucking up a lot though.
Yeah, it's a build up.
Escalation. You know what I'm saying? Like there's escalation because as a woman, you could have a really great male friend that is your friend and that's it for a decade, you're not just gonna fuck them like because you're having a bad day. That would take months and months and months of like grooming or like conversations or like your man fucking up or like emotional tribulations like to get there. It's not just gonna be 0 to 1,000.
You gotta be tribulated.
You know what I'm saying? Like
it'll be like that for a man though.
What?
You said it would be like that for a man though, but not for
I hope so. I mean, I try not to think of men as
yeah, men can definitely slip and fall into some yams.
I hope that y'all don't just fall into pussy.
I don't know how this happened.
Oh my God, my pussy just landed in
Sorry,
her.
there was no wet floor sign.
The walk was crazy. I ain't know, man.
No. I mean, I would hope that that's not something that could just happen that accidentally, like in 1 week moment. Like if you
In a week's time.
actually like trust your partner and love your partner, that you wouldn't give in that easily to like.
Of course not.
But like, okay, so we trust men less because we think they have less control generally over their little sexuality or whatever, but really it's not true either.
Over their
Like
little
because
sexuality.
if a man is not weak in that way, he's not just gonna suddenly have one day where he's like, I just slept. I don't know what happened to me. Like generally there was some sort of buildup. There was some sort of lack, or maybe a miscommunication, or maybe he wasn't being satisfied for a long period of time. He didn't communicate about it. Like, so the woman may feel very like, you know, sideswiped about it, but generally there was some sort of buildup that led to that. Like, I don't think a seriously committed, very sexually satisfied man just would randomly cheat for no reason at all.
I definitely agree.
I have a question. Stay right there. I have a question. Athletes, do you think their wives trust them?
No.
Yo, did you see Andre Kirilenko's wife? She was like, I gave him a hall pass, you know, like a couple times a year. She's just like, yo, it just is what it is. It's better for the relationship. It's healthy. That way we know what's going on, so we ain't got to worry about you doing nothing crazy.
If you're giving passes, then that's a very different situation. Right. You know, that's a very different situation. For
like LeBron James, right? Imagine how much gets thrown at him on a daily basis.
By Rihanna.
And LeBron and have a very strong relationship, but for one, I don't like to speculate because honestly, I don't know that nigga. I do not know that. If I knew his character and I could speak to his character, I could have a better answer. But as far as athletes in general, do I have friends who have been involved with athletes? Yes. Have I ever dabbled in that dating pool in my young, you know, more fun days? Probably. Okay, but you have to know the type of person that you're dealing with, what their access is, and move accordingly, okay? If you're a young girl and you're dating a famous basketball player and you only see him when he's in your city, there's a certain expectation that you should have about what he's doing when he's not with you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Exactly. There's a certain expectation you should have. Like, okay, I'm a pretty girl. I live in New York. He's a handsome, millionaire, famous dude, and he's traveling 6 months at least out of the year. We're not exclusive. I'm going to assume naturally that I'm not the only one, and he's doing him, and he probably has a girl per zip code, maybe at the worst. You know what I'm saying?
Zip code.
But is that saying that all athletes are incapable of monogamy? No. I mean, I have friends who are very well accomplished athletes who have settled down, you know, but also they're a little bit older. They've learned, you know, they're not a spring chicken. Know? So I think maturity plays a part. Like a rookie in the league who's got all these bitches throwing, you know, surgery assets. And like you can only expect so much. But that's why you gotta temper your expectations as a woman. You can't just think, oh, I'm so pretty, he loves me so much.
Man, you be like Ray Charles, you know what I'm saying? What she say to Ray Charles? She said, don't bring your home, don't bring your road home. I'm guessing, like, you know what I'm saying? Don't bring that home, basically.
Right.
You know, you can't be out here having kids on the road.
Now, I think
and, you know,
there's a way to play the game. Like, you know, if you're maybe trying to land that person, you want them to take you seriously, I think there's a way to go about doing that. But I think should your expectations be pretty open and aware of what their lifestyle is? Yeah, absolutely. Like, are you kidding? Like, let's be serious.
Yeah, I think that's the same with entertainers as well.
Well, it's the same thing with entertainers, probably. Yeah. Like, it's a handsome dude. They're fit, they're young, they're rich, they're traveling all the time. Instagram exists. Like, there are millions of bitches. You know what I'm saying?
Millions.
Like, even if you are the prettiest, the baddest bitch, it's not about like being the prettiest or the baddest. Like, that's not the whole.
But Beyonce got
thing.
cheated on.
Beyonce got cheated on. Anybody could get cheated on. Okay, like it has nothing to do with your social status, your wages, your net worth, your surgeries. None of that has to do with it. Like,
for the sake of this podcast, I'm gonna keep my comments to Beyonce to myself. But go ahead.
We don't want
Who you, Beyonce?
We do not hide. We don't want to invoke the wrath of the high.
But Jay has publicly cheated on Beyonce, right? So we could just use them as a public figure example. You could be the most praised woman in the world. Like, Beyonce's one of the most praised people, whether we like her or not. She's one of the most praised. She still got cheated on. So clearly it's not about, you know, how much people like you, how many likes you get on Instagram, none of that. That has nothing to do with infidelity. Infidelity is deeper than that. Clearly,
like rap. And nobody can above it. Anybody can get got.
Anybody can get got.
So I guess when it comes to, kind of open relationship, I think it's just a matter of communication. Like, okay, this is what it is, and just being upfront with it. I think the biggest thing and the issue with all this stuff is just that no one wants to be upfront with what they want because they want to have their cake and eat it too. Just be like, look, I'm a degenerate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I belong to the streets, and the streets belong to me. So as much as I love you, I'm not gonna stop fucking these hoes. And that's what it is.
Co-sign that.
I love you.
Someone really co-sign that, and are like, okay, cool, but I still got a home, I got a car, I got an allowance, I'm good. You know how many? Look, I work in. I'm not gonna say where I work.
Smart. Smart. I ain't got no job.
Let's say I work in selling very expensive things to very rich people, okay? And I'm not even talking about the hood anymore. I'm talking about white people. Those mans do what they will. And the women's, they know. It's not a secret. Because when it comes down to it, when it's a certain price point, there are plenty of women, and I'm not one of them, but there's plenty of women who will put up with whatever they got to put up with to maintain a certain lifestyle. Right.
You can't be broke. You can't be broke talking about you for the streets.
No,
you gotta accept it. No, that's not. It's never the move.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, dudes still do it. They still do it.
They try it.
You gotta be laying elite pipe work.
Right.
It has to be elite.
He said elite pipe work.
But this isn't even a race thing. This is a money thing. When
men
have a certain amount of money, women will tolerate a certain amount of shit. Not all women, but certain women. And
a lot of them have a price.
Like I said, I'm a non-judgmental. It has nothing to do with me. I just know what's not for me. It's not for me. But I have witnessed a gazillion of times. Women will tolerate certain shit when a certain dollar amount and zeros are added after the decimal point. That's what it is. You know, it's some men
comes with the job.
Are like, okay, you will have this house, you will have this car, you will have this Birkins, but I'm gonna do me. And the women are like, cool, don't embarrass me in public.
Right.
And that's it. And that's y'all agreement. And if you agree with that, then that's that. It's the difference is communication. Because if she doesn't know and you're still doing you're sneaking and creeping around, and then it becomes a scandal, that's a whole different situation. So communication.
So are these married people that you're talking about?
Oh, absolutely, honey.
Yeah, starting to realize that too. Like,
because when you got half on the line, you know,
it's worse with the white crowd. You think we're ratchet? You never met these rich white people. I did white people. They are. Oh, there's been times where I've been like, should I call the FBI? Should I call the police? The men are. A rich white man will literally hit on you while they buy something for their wife who's sitting right there, and she will sit there and be the fuck quiet. And it's the most uncomfortable predicament in the world, but it's just, it is what it is. Like, I mean, I'm not for it. I'm just saying, like, what
I'm gonna fight that nigga right now.
They will come up to you at your job and try to purchase you.
Yes.
Hey, cashier at Dunkin' Donuts.
I had a nigga try it, not a nigga, actually. Let me use the word nigga less loosely. Excuse me, that's my nigga dialect.
Can I say it?
She says nigga about 4 or 5 times after.
Right, nigga. I've had a man who is not black literally offer me money in front of his wife in a public place, and she had no reaction because she's so used to the shit, and he is very rich. That's the level that wealth like changes relationships. So I don't even know if we could speak to that, because I'm not in that sphere of like communicating to that. Not that I've tolerated it, but I've witnessed it a few different times in different ways. But money changes relationship dynamics severely, because some women are just like, this is my lifestyle and I want it and I don't care what this man does. But they also don't necessarily love their husbands. They don't care. You know what I mean? Like they don't.
I had a friend that he's married, and we went out to this karaoke night or whatever. There's a rich white woman there, and she offered him $25,000 to sleep with him that night.
Believe that.
But of course he turned her down. But his wife was mad that he didn't take the deal.
That's the real one right there.
That's a real one right there.
What she would do, Nicole? What she would do?
Nah, ain't nobody touching my man. I'm too stingy.
25 is not enough.
Wait. How you said 25?
You want to ruin my life? You at least gotta offer me like $1 million, $2 million to ruin my life. Come on now.
2,500. Wait, you said 2,500?
No, he said
25,000.
25,000 for what? Hours worth of work?
I'll beat that bitch up in front of you. And then
Right, exactly. That's right.
So this is what
I'm like, now.
Hold on.
So what we do is I agree to take the bread, and then right before they get started,
and I'm taking
whatever
afterwards,
and it becomes a robbery situation.
We can do that, but that's it.
She probably gonna come back for food. She give me 25, we can get 100,000 out of her.
Y'all are a mess.
That's crazy. Nah, but like I will notice that especially in Long Island, I have noticed that middle-aged white women are very aggressive.
Very.
Very aggressive, very forthcoming, very like. I've been called a sexy motherfucker, and I don't know how.
That's the culture out there. That's the culture in Long Island. Like rich white people, just like they just feel like they could do whatever they could with no consequence. You know what I'm saying?
That's not new. They still think they could buy us.
Yeah. If you're a finely dressed Negro,
right?
Oh,
I can speak in complete sentences. It's a wrap.
Incomplete sentences.
It's a wrap.
Incomplete sentences. Yeah, that's the prerequisite. Complete.
Oh, and don't let you be tall and dark skinned. Oh, it's a wrap after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't be 6'4" and about as chocolate as old boy from Amistad. You can't have that.
I fulfill the chocolate requirements, but not the height. I'm 5'6". I've never had. I don't know what that life is like.
Right. Get you a good pair of Timbs. Get you a good pair of Timbs.
Right. Platform Timbs. Yeah. Shit's crazy.
No, white people are scary.
White people, okay. Listen. If nobody takes anything else away from this, take away that everybody needs therapy, and that white people are crazy.
About themselves.
Right, you preaching to the choir now.
Yeah.
Whoever's listening to this, whoever's watching this.
So as far as like, okay, let's talk specifically about the entanglement.
Specifics.
Let
me ask y'all something real. Are y'all forgiving? Like, I'm gonna keep it 1,000. If I was Will Smith, I'm Jada's coming back. I'm not throwing my whole life away. My pride is not gonna let me just throw away everything. I'm gonna be fucking mad.
Been mutual. Giving her already.
I'm sure he's mad, but it's been mutual. He's been stepped out with some badass A-list bitches. She done stepped out, like, you know. At this,
what I'm saying is, even if he didn't, I still think after all that, he's probably gonna start. If he didn't, he'll start, but you're not getting rid of him. You're not throwing her out.
Right, they've been together so long.
That tenure that they have changes everything.
Yeah.
And it's so circumstantial because you don't know what was going on in their household. Like he said, they were on the outs. He was like, no, he was separated.
They were separated.
So to him, it may make more sense, even outside of his entanglements. Like, they were separated.
She made it more difficult by using the word entanglement instead of just saying, listen, I needed to be held. He wasn't holding me.
I got held.
And I got held.
So would you think?
Hey,
man, I think that's what set it all off. It's like no accountability.
Would you take that?
It's like no accountability.
Would I take my woman back?
Yeah.
When I got married, and I always joke about this, but I'm so serious. Like I always say, whenever I was going to get married, that we're not splitting up for nothing because splitting up is just too expensive. So it's whatever it is, it's whatever it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? No. She gonna do her, I gotta do me, whatever. But
y'all come back.
Yeah, it's lifetime thing. Like I believe in that.
That's
that whole thing.
So I don't know what the circumstances will bring this type of situation.
They say the death do us part. Like that's a real thing.
I don't really know if I would like permanently, like if it would be like a permanent separation situation, but I'm fucking shit up. Like this shit is going to the news. Helicopters being called. I don't really know. Like I just know I'm causing a situation.
A disturbance.
Like a public service announcement will be issued. I'm not saying whether or not I'm leaving my husband. All I'm saying is they're gonna need to call the feds in to deal with the situation because I don't know what will I do. Like,
right. So you're saying it's gonna be an Amber Alert for a grown ass man?
Like a bunch of people is gonna have to get beat up.
Multiple parties.
Like,
right, multiple.
If we can get past that, then we can get past anything.
We can get past anything.
But some people go into relationships knowing that it's gonna be open. That's different. The thing to me is betrayal.
The communication.
Like, don't fucking betray me. Like, don't fucking betray me. Betrayal is what I don't like. Like, don't fucking betray me because that's like, my nigga, you could have just told me you was feeling some type of way.
Right. Tell me about it.
Moment, you know? Like, at least Will and Jada took a separation because they knew they was on the outs, you know?
Yeah.
It's the thing when someone's lying to your face and pretending and faking there's a facade and they betray you. That's what makes it, like, a disaster to me, at least.
Yes, very much so.
Like when people are lying and scheming, like, oh, come on now.
Yeah, it's so much easier to keep it a band. I mean, I've never been much of a liar or a dream salesman. And it's a lot of times, like, you know, back in my singular days. Don't worry, guys.
Singular.
But like, you know, women be like, yo, like, who hurt you? I'm like, nah, I'm just like, look, like, what is it? Like, what's the deal? Like, you know what I'm saying? Is you with it, or, you know, you need to be coaxed into it, or like, what's up? Like, that's just how I was. It was very ruthless. It was very crass. It was very tactless, but it weeded people out, you know. And it's just being honest with who you are, first of all, because niggas be lying. There's a lot of good men. There's a lot of fuck niggas in denial, and they think they're a good man. Mm-hmm. They're very in denial about it.
Yeah.
You get that woman 15 years of my life. And for kids on the side, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, tell the whole story, my nigga. So, you know, it's just about being honest with yourself, being honest with who you're with, and honoring the agreement that you made to be with each other.
Right.
Like, all right, so this is the deal. These are the boundaries that we're setting up. Now, these may be subject to change, but that's a situation that you have to constantly be in communication with them. Like, yeah, so, you know, this is just going my job. You keep looking at me, and I'm just wanted to know if, you know, if you'd be open to opening up our household for a little bit.
Hell to the no.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, just having that conversation, being open like that. You know what I mean? That's
open to getting your ass beat.
Right.
A lot of dudes just aren't honest.
Right.
Or if there's some sort of tribulation happening in your relationship, talk about it before you betray each other. Like,
yeah,
exactly.
People don't talk about shit. Like, just be like, you know what? You've been making me unhappy, you know, and these are the reasons why. Like, can we address this?
Right.
Or is this not fixable? the communication and the honesty to me is what's missing, and that's where situationships are the problem, where people aren't being honest about their expectations.
Right.
They're not being honest about their needs. They're not being honest about who they're fucking with. It's a lot. It's too much gray area for you to be sure about anything. So then people just want to be secretive about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
If you know what your partner's expectations are, then you have less to worry about. But if y'all are like completely gray with each other, then you got a lot to worry about. Like,
so I'm gonna throw something out here, and I want y'all reaction on it.
Okay.
I feel like part of the reason with the communication is, you know, obviously having that tough conversation, but I also think that there's a certain thrill with being a dirtbag, like being secretive. I feel like it's like a kind of a thrill to that.
I guess.
It's just like, it's dangerous coochie. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just an added level of danger. I guess people like.
I'll fuck you up
some
for this
things
chat.
are worth risking your life.
Again, this is just me speaking for, you know, the average nigga out there.
Right, not him.
Listen, it's some shit that's just not worth risking your life for, okay?
Totally agree.
It's not worth it. It's just, why would you do it? Why would you do it? You know?
Right.
Why would you do it? It's not worth it. Just
I want to hear one of the other men's.
Let's hear from.
It's easy for DJ and Malcolm. Me and Nicole are sitting directly next to them,
Right.
So they don't get to say so much. So please, one of the other men speak.
It's y'all time to shine.
You right, Darian. I've said plenty already.
Say what?
So the question is, you know, I think there's an added thrill to not communicating that you want to have some outside tang, you know, and I think that
I missed that.
Outside. Outside tang. Yeah.
You know, like that's just like a level of thrill. Like, you know, I feel like that's part of the reason too why people aren't forthcoming with, you know, their needs and their desires of, you know.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
No.
You know what else is
it's more so a way of control, because you want to control your, you know what I'm saying, what you want to have, I guess, have happen, I guess. So you don't, especially somebody that has a weak ego, it doesn't want to deal with the rejection or having somebody answer that, you know, that they don't want to hear. You kind of want to go ahead and make that answer for them. So yeah, you're not going to tell them about the other person because you still want that particular person. So it's like having your cake and eat it too. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like, it becomes like how do I say, like almost like a chain type of thing. Like, okay, you got this person and this person. And some people it might be a thrill, but for some other people it's a big ego. It's an ego thing, you know? So that's from, you know, my basis of how I see it.
I feel you.
Speaking of
because you're not, even for
things.
women, like most women are not gonna let you just be like, oh well, I'm gonna go talk to this other chick. Like what? You know what I'm saying? Like they're not gonna deal with that. And you know, you being the man, you're not gonna want to hear that another dude is swimming in the same pool as you. No, that's not. No, I'm not. We're not
over
doing
here
this.
peeing in my pool,
Yeah,
but not like.
no.
I also think that speaking of the ego thing, it has to be a kick in the nuts to like you with your girl or you with your dude or whatever, and you shoot your shot trying to cheat, and then they W. It's just like, damn. Because I feel like some people, they do it just to see if they still got it, and then it's just like,
that's what you get.
Yeah, it is what you get.
What you get.
But I always thought that was like probably mad funny. Like, you know, you've been with your shorty or whatever, you just trying to shoot your shot, and you're just like, they just completely shut you down. Like, it's like, damn.
Now you do.
Say the girl.
Or imagine like, you know, your girl going through your phone and she see you getting dubbed, and it's just like, this lame ass nigga.
Listen.
That gotta be funny though, and terrible at the same time.
Some dudes just Like I said, I think some people just cheat because they just got, it's like an animal thing. Like they just be hot in the pants, man. Just gotta get it out.
Want to see if they can get away with it. Like they just want to see if they could do it.
Or they have no willpower.
Yeah.
That's the
maybe
thing right there, the willpower. The willpower.
A relationship.
Or because they don't view like betrayal as that deep. Like they just like.
Also very true. I do think a lot of men, sometimes myself included, would be like, "Yo, I was just fucking her. I really don't. There's nothing there besides that. It was just the act. There's nothing. I can never see her again. That's very fine for me. That's just it. I do think sometimes that's a blurred line between cheating. Well, there's no emotion for me, so it's not really cheating. Versus there's an emotional aspect. It doesn't make it right. I'm just saying that's I think that's the cop-out that some use.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that, at a certain point in a man's life, and it's just me speaking for the men and the average Negroes out there, that, need to stop putting the box on a pedestal and start placing yourself to, holding yourself to a certain standard.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, this is, a horizontal exchange. There's also an information exchange. This is a DNA exchange. This is an energetic exchange. And I'm not just getting a woman, I'm giving myself as well.
Yeah.
In fact, scientifically, I'm the one that's giving more. I'm losing more than she's losing.
Right.
The way society set up, they make it seem like she's losing value.
Essentially creating a whole other human. That's where people take sex so nonchalantly, and not saying that it's not okay to have casual sex, because I don't know, I'm nobody's boss. But you could literally create a whole other human.
A whole other nigga.
Like you create a whole other human.
Yeah, I mean, look at how, if you going back to August Alsina, I think Jada put something on him that he wasn't ready for.
I might agree with that. He might have been a little young and dumb. And she was a little tenured.
He was in the situation that he's in.
It's very possible.
Jada not making those songs.
No.
Jada not making no MP3s, releasing them on Spotify. That's August.
I mean, ain't no real man gonna tell or gonna spill no tea like that. You know what I'm saying? If you, especially Jada, like, come on. If you get the chance to do something like that, you're not telling the whole world that you did that. Especially if it was like 4 years ago.
For his project.
He was on some other shit too.
He was on a promo tour too. I feel like niggas will say anything to sell their records.
They sure will. They get into a beef with the label. They do all that stuff.
He's like, well, I wasn't gonna say anything, but I need to sell a few records, so I'm gonna say something now.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That was an imbalanced power dynamic, because I think that Jada was more of the predator in that relationship than August, and I think that it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, that it's very easy to balance as far as who is in more control and who has more power.
Yeah.
And also, Dwayne, just as a man, like kind of going off of what you're saying, as a man too, you kind of grow out of these things. Like as far as like, I don't want to make it like a biblical sense, but you grew up doing childish things. When you become a man, you put childish things away. It's the same thing, and like for guys, like you say, women, mature faster. Yeah, that may be true. For guys, it's 30. You hit 30, you know what I'm saying? A light bulb normally goes off.
What am I doing?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I'm 30.
Y'all ready to put y'all lives
I'm 30.
And also, Darian, the problem is we have a lot of men in their 30s that didn't do anything in their 20s, so they are delaying that maturity.
Yeah.
Especially you grown ass men listen to that mumble rap and repeating that bullshit.
Listen. Y'all ever heard Second Childhood by Nas?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, that shit is real. It's a lot of older niggas out here that's trying to live that second childhood.
I mean,
and you be like,
I'm not gonna speak
35.
no names, but I may be friends with a promoter or two who's responsible for some parties in New York City, right? Who is older, who you think would have grown out of this and transitioned to something else, or their entrepreneurship skills would have taken them somewhere else, who are still in that scene with a bunch of little young girls in their old bodies, like posting it like it's something like to aspire to. It's just like, bro.
Like Ron Osley and shit. You ever see Ron Osley from the Osley Brothers?
Like 80, and you're like in a section with like
you got a throwback jersey on the fur coat.
Like, bro, man. I don't want to come and hang out with you. Like, I'm scared, actually. Like, I'm very scared.
I should have had that realization twice already. He's like old past 60.
He might be old past.
He should have been had that realization twice by now.
Mm-hmm. But then you got to realize too, you don't even want to have a second childhood in these nowadays. Like for me being married, you know what I'm saying? I got married in October of last year. You know, I'm super happy about that. The thing that I'm so happy about being married about is like seeing this new generation of females that these guys got to deal with nowadays. Like, there's no way. Like, these females can't even cook. You know what I'm saying? Like, we came up with females that had futures. You know? We'd be like, yo.
It's hard here, man. It's hard, man.
Unless you can build a house from scratch, don't talk to me about cooking. Now, can I cook? Yes. Okay. But let's not do gender norms unless you're fulfilling the other half of gender norms, okay? Yes, our grandmothers could not divorce these cheating ass grandfathers with 3 families, okay? But also at least they knew how to do shit. Like, these young niggas don't know how to do shit and expect they want to be adult ass babies. Feed me, take care of my progeny, clean the house while you go to work and pay all the bills, and I just sit here and play my PS4. Fuck that shit, all right?
Yeah, like just in general, the game is just it's a wasteland. It's a wasteland.
I definitely don't think the man that you're talking about is the man that any of us would rep for anyway. That's a fuck boy.
Yeah, y'all are such a 1/9% though of like the 90% of what we are discussing of like normal ass people.
About
like
very specific
y'all are talking about woke men who are grown, who are mature. Yeah. Okay.
Third eye.
No, I am a kid in my head. I'm very much so.
Talking about what women do as far as cooking and cleaning. Nigga, it's the 1940s, too. Come on, women make more money than most men.
Hold on. Just because you make money don't mean you can't cook. Like, I take pride in my ability to cook. Like,
okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not talking about cooking.
And my cooking is how I bagged her.
We're talking about the expectation that women are just these intrinsic housewives, housemaid, homemakers, and men can just do whatever they want. That's different. And a lot of women had to put up with that in the past because it wasn't socially acceptable to separate themselves or be divorced. They didn't have as much choice. Women now have a bit more choice.
I just don't think every time somebody mentions a woman can't cook, it doesn't mean that we want her to be, you know, Wilma Flintstone or something. Like, you.
No, I didn't say it's a problem for women to know how to cook or not know how to cook. But for a man saying like you should know how to cook, so you should know how to cook your house.
I'm gonna put it like this.
Like,
there are basic.
You can't really say anything about
there are basic life skills that you should have, right? That you should have as a person.
As a human, though, not gendered life skills. It shouldn't be gendered life skills.
She taught me how to cook. She taught me how to cook.
It's not about gender.
Shame on you, because you should have knew that before you met her.
I was going when I first got to college.
I knew grilled cheese. Look, I had grilled cheese. I had cereal. I had hot dogs. Okay, I was surviving.
Barely.
Okay? I was surviving.
Barely surviving. No, but forget Malcolm's lack of sense. What we're saying is a lot of that conversation is like holding women to these standards of like raising like man children. I'm not saying y'all are that at all, because y'all seem much more woke than that.
Yeah.
But if you look on Twitter at these conversations, a lot of men want to be like raised by their girlfriends.
It's weird.
Like they want to be like babied by them, but like not. Like,
there's a lot of children preparators.
It's a lot of man children. And I'm not saying
absolutely.
Know how to cook. I think every human that wants to survive should know how to cook.
You should definitely know how
to cook. You should know how to cook in general.
I was going to college and seeing people that didn't know how to wash their own clothes. Like, I grew up in a single parent household, right?
Right.
Like I said, my mother and father broke up for a little time. Mm-hmm. My mother made sure I had all my skills. I knew how to wash clothes. I knew how to cook. I knew how to do all my own things. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like when meeting a female, they should have the same things.
Right,
That
so
wasn't
that's
always the
usually
case.
on your level, not
yeah.
expecting someone to like fill in holes that you don't necessarily have. I think what we react to is most of the time when men say that it's like, feed me, you know, but you're saying I can feed you, but you need to be able to feed me. It's like a vice versa.
Right,
so that's much more.
But I feel like you should want more for yourself than you just being on OnlyFans, which I'm not knocking your hustle, but if that's your only skill.
My mother was more old school, traditional church mom, right? So she made me and my sister do a lot more than she made my little brother do, right? So now my little brother is much more helpless as an adult than me and my sister, because she was that like, I washed his clothes, I cooked his meals, but she was like, y'all better figure it out as far as me and my sister. So we had to cook, you know? And with some of the older generation, it was a lot of that. Like they coddled the boys and they treated the girls like servants or housemaids. And a lot of us grew up that way. Like a lot of us grew up having to do a majority of the chores while the boys got to just be boys, as they used to say. So we do see a lot of that in dating where men are like, can you cook me dinner? But then they don't have anything else to offer. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where that argument came in. Not saying that you don't know how to cook or you don't believe in an equal, you know, I think it's got to be reciprocity, no matter what it is. Reciprocity is very important, you know, because there's nothing wrong with staying home and doing all the chores if someone is working at work. It doesn't matter what the gender is. If you're the man and you're the stay-at-home and you want to make sure, you know, your wife comes home to a clean house and maybe a hot meal, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's nothing wrong with if you're the man and you're at work all day and you're making all the money and you make sure you come home to clean clothes and a hot meal. It can go both ways. You know, that's not a gendered thing.
The hip-hop professor wants to make sure any young man listening, you get nothing from me in life. Know this. I don't give a damn how much money you make in life. If you have a woman with you, she better go to work just like you go to work. Why would you do that to yourself? You're going to have someone at your house just all day bored. This is how trouble starts. No. Right. Let's stop settling. Let's
There's not necessarily wrong with a stay-at-home parent, though. When you have children at home,
if I hit the lotto tomorrow, if I get Jeff Bezos money, guess what's happening? Whatever you was doing before you met me, you're going to keep going to work. I won this money. I did what I want to do.
What we're saying is, if someone is a parent,
I can chill because I earned the right to chill.
It's not about chilling.
One at a time.
We're not talking about chilling. If someone is a parent, and it makes more sense for someone to stay home and make sure that the toddlers are good, kids could get to school, the house could be kept,
Well,
that's not a lesser thing. Like, calling someone a stay-at-home parent is not calling them a lesser thing. That's
a job.
That's a community
I'm
job,
a stay-at-home parent.
So if you're the stay-at-home parent in this situation, that's not lesser on you at all. Right. As long as y'all are both contributing to the household. One may be contributing actual physical dollars. The other may be contributing more domestic labor.
In this economy,
but if you're gonna do that, you can't use that against them either.
Right. That's what
you have an argument or something like that. That's the main thing.
But that's what we're talking about. Where men saying, "Oh, she better know how to cook and clean." But if she's bringing in 100K, you're bringing in 50K. That's not equivalent. Whether she could cook or not. But if one is staying at home, making sure your kids are healthy, getting good grades, clean, going to school clean, coming home, doing their homework, making sure the house is together, that's a full-time job too.
Exactly.
So it goes both ways, regardless of gender, to me. Like, it doesn't matter if it's the man doing it or the woman doing it. Like, it doesn't matter who has those.
You heard me. I told you. Don't say I didn't give you nothing. Don't never say I didn't give you nothing. I gave you that nugget. Don't do it.
What nugget? What, of nobody working?
The little nuts.
Everybody works, man. Everybody works. That's the economy we live in. Everybody works.
No, but if your partner makes like $900,000 and you only make $20,000, you might as well stay home and take care of the kids. There's nothing wrong with that. Like,
if you only make $20,000, you ain't capable of taking care of my kids because you damn sure ain't got your head right.
No, but it's not about work. It has nothing about like no, some people are great educators and don't even have a college education. It has nothing about how much money you make. In the
you can't be a great educator without a college education, so that's not
the white supremacist economic fucking system that we live in. That has nothing.
How many fees on 125th got that knowledge that you won't get in a college classroom? What are we talking about here?
Exactly.
What are we talking about?
It's about a balance.
It's because you can't transfer your skills to you can't monetize your skills. Doesn't take away from who you are. Like let's keep it a band here. We're in Babylon right now, in the Matrix. We're going by these rules right now. We need to realize that.
I think a crackhead is there are issues there. They haven't found their value for a reason because they value a crack rock.
Okay, but that doesn't take away from Just how our grandfathers had side babies, it didn't take away from them being a good person. People make mistakes. It is what it is. Crack, there was a period of time, but crack was as popular as weed.
Right. A lot of our generation was raised by crackheads. A lot of our
Facts. It is what it is.
A lot of not necessarily me or you, but a lot of our generation was raised by crackheads.
A lot of crackheads.
And I will not shit on nobody for making an honest dollar. I don't care if they're wiping windows at a gas station.
I don't care if you're wiping butt at a gas station.
I don't care if they're wiping a booty.
Sir.
But it's just, to me, it's about, are you contributing emotionally?
Top left.
Emotionally and physically to your household for the best of everybody. It doesn't matter if your husband or wife makes 100% more than what you make. That has nothing to do with it. It's the balance of the equity of your emotional relationship equivalent, okay? Maybe you can't put in as many like emotional hours. Like maybe you work 60 hours. Maybe you work really fucking hard. You're gone most of the day, every single day of the week. So you expect her to do certain things. That expectation makes sense because you're not there physically. You can't do it, but you're trying to cover them up in other ways. But it goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you also have to look at the work they're doing as equivalent. Who wants to be in a house with a toddler all day long? Who?
Exactly.
Not a single. I have to yell at my white person job that stay in the house with a toddler all day long. Okay, because toddlers are annoying.
Toddlers are the worst roommates.
But you're further making my point on why I say I won't be with nobody that's not gonna work. You just said it. What's gonna happen? You're gonna be in the house all day. It's gonna be driving you buck wild, which means what? Now that energy is gonna come to me when I come home from work.
Wait, but so are y'all gonna have a nanny? I don't understand what you're saying.
Hey, on that note.
Wait, hold on. Darius, getting out of here.
Nah, I gotta go. You know, speaking of children, I have my own children of my own, and I gotta help the wife. And gotta do the reciprocity thing.
You like
so
reciprocity.
Right.
Yeah, you know that word.
Yes,
we like
that part.
All right, peace.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, man.
Oh, no problem. I'm gonna continue. I got some things I'm working on my own. I'm trying to get Dwayne's little advice on it, but I got some things coming, so hopefully he'll be able to let y'all know some things as well.
Twitter, your Instagram.
Right.
How can people follow you?
The Instagram is gonna be @MilesBlue. It's going to be start of a new podcast I'm working on called True R&B Podcast.
Okay.
So that's going to be the main thing that I've got coming up. You know, keep that on the hush. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody else to be knowing out there, you know, before that gets messed up. But, you know, Dwayne's backing me, so it's going to do well.
We like that.
So that's what I got going on.
Part of the network. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, you got 2 followers here.
Right.
I'm trying to look you up right now. You said @MilesBlue?
Yeah,
Is it MILES or MY?
Yeah, give it to this weekend, but it's MILES. That's my middle name. And it's blue as in BLU.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Find you, child.
Got you.
You only hide so much on the internet.
Got you locked in. I'm going to lock you in.
I'm trying to find it.
All right, so what was we talking about?
We going on a tangent.
Oh yeah, so
going on all type of tangents. You know what? But I love these conversations because of the tangents. The tangents give you so much like juice and.
We were talking about working spouses and how I'm like
working spouses.
Home spouse.
Oh no, my question for you specifically was, how would you feel about like because you said that you want 2 people who work, which is fine. Because most of us, I think in 2020, we both got to work regardless. Like, it's almost impossible not to unless your spouse makes a ton of money.
Yeah.
So do you feel like then a nanny is like the answer? Because you said you want them to work, you want you to work. Who's going to take care of the kids? I'm just curious, like, for that particular situation.
Depending on the time frame, I'm probably banking on paying my parents, or I would use a good daycare service. I mean, when we really go back to how our communities really used to thrive, that's what we did. Like, if you go to Africa, that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? They have an elder in the household that does that. You know what I mean? And that's keeping money in the family.
Right.
I
But
try to
Americans
preach
are
to
so
my
far
family
from
all the time.
generational community. Like we're so far from that. Like I think it would make more sense, and that's something that I talk about a lot. So I'm glad you brought it up. Is like having a generational community and not shaming people for living with elders and those types of things. But if that wasn't an option, like if we're talking about someone who maybe doesn't have that as an option, like maybe
my elders still work.
Right.
They have a job.
So maybe their elders still works, or they're incompetent, or they got dementia. Whatever it is.
Well, if you don't have that, then obviously, then you're gonna go for daycare and something of that nature. That's understandable.
Would you consider that person staying home to homeschool your child? Like, say you have a wife who is very well educated, who could be a great homeschooler for your children. Would you consider that if you were the only income? Like, not saying she couldn't make an income, but she chose to sacrifice her income to homeschool your children. Would you consider that?
No, because I don't want my kids homeschooled.
Just for socialization reasons?
Socialization, I was plethora of reasons. I don't want my kids homeschooled. I think.
What about plagues and stuff like we got right now? Most kids are homeschooled right now.
COVID-19 reasons.
I mean, overall, to me, like school, the daycare system, all of that's an iffy situation. Like,
very iffy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, things happen to children, and like this is something that you really have to be focused on. Like, there's predators inside the daycare. There's predators inside the school.
Daycare's a trafficking hub.
Right.
And
I recognize all these things, but personally, I don't govern my life by I call that fear politics, right? I understand there's a lot of bad things that happen, but that's why I do my research, and the chips seem to fall where they may. I've gotten this far in life because I do my research.
So you're not talking about public school. You're talking about if you can afford like a private education.
Right.
Public school is very different from what you're saying. You can't control public school.
Not at all.
You guys were just talking about daycare centers and all that, predators and all that. I mean, I can't control that.
No, we're talking about elementary school,
kindergarten. You can control that.
There's only so much you control outside of your four walls that you live in.
You can't
right, but that's the point that I'm trying to tell y'all. So I'm not going to worry about what I can't control. That's one of the
one thing you have to worry about is what you can't control.
In regards to your kids,
In regards to your kids, like if you're sending your kids to school because you don't want the mom to stay home with them, you understand that they're going to be with strangers. Unless you can afford private school, they might be with white strangers.
Yeah, but that's
white strangers. They might find themselves in the school to prison pipeline.
And there's at least 3 pedos. There's at least 3 pedos in like every school.
And it's not about being scared. It's just about
it's not about being scared. It's about preparedness and awareness.
You guys are homeschooling your kids. That's what I'm hearing. You guys are homeschooling.
Yeah,
definitely.
Got you. I mean, yeah, I've
done both things. Like I've had kids. Like I'm preschooling a child, but I also have children who go to public school. So I'm just saying, like the spectrum is very broad. Yeah. The county changes everything. Like, oops, sorry, Mal.
I'm also not sending my kids to school because I don't want my spouse to stay home. That's not the reason for it. I'm sending my kids to school because I think it's healthy for kids to be in school. There's a lot of things that you learn in school outside of just the classroom in terms of socialization.
So socialization, that's what I was asking. Like socialization.
We got summer camp.
Like
we got summer camp. We got the park.
We traveling in the summer. We're not going to summer camp. I'm by the time I have kids, my businesses will be taking off, and my main job as an educator, I got summers off, so we don't need summer camp because we're gonna be moving. We're gonna be getting exposures just like I got when I was growing up.
But if people don't have the same education and access as you, like look at it from their perspective and then like give the answers. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not negating anything that you're saying, because if you have the capacity to give anything like that to your children, give it to them. You know what I'm saying? Like give it to them. Please, but like I would say 95% of people have to send their children to public school. Like 95% of people have to send their children to public school. So in that realm, say you had a spouse who was more capable of being an educator, would you consider them being the one that spends more time at home so they could give that level of education to your child? Or you feel like now I get the socialization thing because that is very important. Like sometimes homeschool kids are a little awkward.
That's going to be my answer. I'm going to keep saying no because I think kids need to go to school for that reason. I think it's also healthy to just talk to other people outside of just like your parents.
But you could do that without sending them to school.
Yeah,
They don't have to.
And they could be socialized. Like you could put the karate and pottery and the park and like all types of extracurricular without them going to a 9-to-5 school.
What public school does teach, and we actually, the last episode I did was on homeschooling. Like what public school teaches is they teach like groupthink. Like a lot of kids that are homeschooled don't really have to deal with peer pressure like that because they know who they are. And regular school, it's like a lot of self-discovery that goes on because one of our people, she was like her friend who was on the basketball team with her, she up until high school she was homeschooled, and so when everyone was like, oh, let's do drugs or whatever, or oh, you don't do that, ha ha ha, he goes, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have that, they're not socialized in that way. And there's a lot of, you know, toxic things that are being taught in public school or just in certain schools in general that we have no idea of. There's certain ways that, you know, counselors or hall monitors or whoever talk to these kids that we have no idea about, that they keep to themselves. You know, maybe
I'm a counselor myself, so I understand. I mean, I grew up in the 90s, you know what I mean? I started in Jamaica, Queens, the South Side. You know what I mean? I saw a crack when I was like 6 years old. It was at my bus stop. Guess what? Just because I went to public school, I didn't use it. You want to know why? Because my parents gave me a firm foundation. When you have a firm foundation that you launch from, you know, a lot of these things you couldn't get that over me. Even when I moved to Long Island and I was far from my family and I had to re-put myself together, that foundation from my Tucker heritage, that carried me through. That's why I knew I needed to get out of high school, get my ass away to college, get away from around here, because that foundation I had was what helped me through. And that's what I'm going to continue with my children. Same thing with my siblings doing with their children. You know, when you have that firm foundation, I'm a firm believer. A firm foundation will stand through everything else. A lot of people don't realize it, but kids don't come from a lot of firm foundations because the parents ain't firm themselves. We can look at it now with how this nation is falling apart from all this political banter. People are not solid. That's why the fear tactics and everything just sway them, because a lot of people ain't solid. The kids are sheep because your parents are sheep too.
That's true, but also like teenagers rebel. So I think both things.
To a degree.
I think you get a little bit of both. Like I understand what you're saying. Like you're at a much better starting place if your parents are very firm. But peer pressure and environment and like the educators around you can also unduly influence a child. So it's like there's no way we know.
I see my brother battle with that a lot. Like he just confused with a lot of stuff from
like my freaking 13-year-old is a genius and he hates this remote schooling thing that they're doing. He just doesn't want to participate in it. He'll do all his schooling in like 2 days and be like, why do I have to get on Zoom? Like he just doesn't want to do it. He's just like fucking over it. And it's like, it's just
so one of my pushbacks is number one is two things, right? You got to look at the kind of schools we send our kids to. You know, like my elementary school, we have a black principal, black assistant principal. We got a black psychologist. We have a lot of black people and black men in particular. And how
she was from like going to ICE, I think that is
a lot of the things that you're gonna get at our public school, you're not gonna get if you went to others because there's more cultural sensitivity there. So the kids are gonna get that sense of empowerment. They're gonna get that, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna get, built on in a proper way because we know, because we're gonna model that for them. Right. And for me, I'm gonna make sure that my kids go to that same kind of school. You know what I mean? That's what my dad did.
Not everybody has a choice, and not everybody has resources to have a choice because a lot of people it's just about the redlining in their districts.
I mean,
a lot of cities redline the shit out of schools, and a lot of women or not women families don't necessarily have the financial ability to move districts to get into that type of curriculum.
I'm in public school. I mean, Durham public schools is a predominantly black district. You know what I mean? So
right, but in New York, yeah. You've got 50,000 different districts.
Well, listen. You can't use New York as a model for anything because New York is an animal of its own. What happens in New York doesn't happen anywhere else.
Yeah, but what happens in New York happens to kids who are in New York. So, like, you could say that about Jerusalem. You could say that about Zimbabwe. You could say that about anywhere. Not everywhere has access or the resources that your zip code has. So when we're having those type of conversations, it's like, unless that's the standard, which it's not yet, it should be the standard. And
So
it
are
would
you
be
saying that we
fucking
can be
magnificent if it was. But most people, not most people, but a good percentage of people do not have the access to those type of environments and resources that they need, like where they have people who look like them uplifting them or around them, or as the counselors. Like, you're probably the best fucking counselor. Like, I would love my children to have a counselor like you know, who's pro-black, who's aware, who, you know, who's a man, like all these things. But so many thousands and millions of children, despite how much their parents try, don't have that type of access to those type of resources, regardless of the state, the county, or the country that they're in. So some parents are now, with all the shit going on, taking it upon themselves to do it themselves. And you have to understand that, like, despite the socialization, which I get, like, I would much rather my kids go to school so they learn how to interact with people. It makes a lot of sense. But a lot of people are like, I'm so scared to send my kids to school because so many kids are getting sent to prison from school. So many fucking kids. Like, Malcolm's from Cleveland. Cleveland is one of the worst with the school to prison pipeline, you know, like
East Cleveland.
So many people are scared to even send their kids to school for the fear that their own guidance counselors are going to be ones that send them to prison for even having an emotion or reaction or missing a day, or, you know, whatever it is. That those type of opportunities aren't available to everybody yet. I mean, we could work towards making that more of a thing, but it's not a thing. So I think I'm maneuvering from a lack, not because I prefer the lack perspective, but because I understand the reality of how many children are in lack. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want the lack for none of these fucking kids. You know? Like, I don't want the lack for
for me, I don't have children yet, but I know when I do, because I mean, just based on anything I do, I'm gonna do the legwork to put them in the best position.
And we believe that. We believe
that's
1,000% when you say that. Like, I believe that. Like, you seem like the type of person that is gonna really do that.
Right.
You
like,
know,
I'm definitely gonna think about where we, you know, because I mean, you got 6 years when the child's born to when they gotta start school. 6 years, I can get into whatever house I want. I'll put the work in and make that happen. I work 80 days a week now.
I mean, I'll leave it to 4 years instead, because kids got to go to preschool if that's what you're trying to do. And they start that at 3 to 4 years old.
Right.
Okay. True.
And some people have either the resources or the drive or the motivation to make it happen, but some people just like don't. But it's not on the. It's such a weird fucking paradigm, but like.
Yeah.
So
We're more
entanglements.
That's what, like, yo.
Infidelity.
I cheated on you, and I had a 6-year-old by him and him. They were both going to kindergarten.
Now I gotta send this nigga to preschool.
Now my kid got to sit next to his stepbrother in preschool. He don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's the situation.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that have met their siblings that were like months apart, like as grown adults. It was like, yo. It was like, yo, I wouldn't even talk about you. But like,
people were dating their cousins and like realized it on Twitter, and we're like,
that's disgusting. That's disgusting.
Yeah,
Y'all remember Kevin Gates? Y'all remember?
Oh yeah.
He was smashing his cousin.
But then they found out and they didn't stop.
And they still was smashing.
That's nasty.
Wait, so
that's
this lady
find out
They didn't stop.
and you don't stop, that's now listen, I will give you the benefit of doubt before you find out.
Man, if you doing that shit, you better not tell nobody. You take that to the grave. That's disgusting.
Right, I would never tell anyone.
Disgusting.
Let alone social media, I would die with that secret. Okay,
Nobody.
that's between me and God, and I'm gonna repent. Okay.
I see my cousin now. I'll be like, "Why are you doing this on social media? I don't want to see this from you."
yeah.
Right.
Then every funeral you gotta like wonder if you're gonna like show up. Like, nah, it's just a bad look.
It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
All right, so we was all over the place. If people wanna find y'all, where can they find y'all at?
Well, again, guys, you guys can just all you gotta do is Google hashtag no fucks given. It's spelled no faux given, so that's hashtag NOFAUXGIVEN. You'll probably see the picture of Malcolm X and Fidel Castro with the livest episode yet, because we changed our screen art up. You'll also see the evil panda. That's the black and white. That's what No Fucks Given is about. It's just being blunt and honest. Black and white. We're not doing the gray. We being cold. It's how it is. Tell her how we shoot it. You can also find me on IG at the Hip Hop Professor, hip_hop_professor.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, at MT the Artist, MTTHEARTIST, and I'm very surprised that I spelled that as well as I did, because I've been drinking Jameson this whole time. So that's an accomplishment to me. Y'all need to big up me. All right. And yourself?
What?
I'm sorry. She has her own agency. I'm not speaking for her.
MTT the Artist?
MT the Artist.
MT the Artist. Yeah.
Well, me and Malcolm's show together is Poignant Bars. For those of you who don't know how to spell poignant, it's like spelled like Poignant Bars, but like that's our little that's our little kind of vlogcast podcast variety show. But I'm April Catrice with a K, and on all my socials it's the same ass thing, April Catrice. Oh wait, no, on my YouTube it's Life with April Catrice, but it's still April Catrice with a K. So if you find me on one thing, you'll find me on everything. But I'm a yoga teacher, and I talk about weird shit, metaphysical shit. I defend women most of the time and Black people, so that's my thing.
Wait, I'm looking at the Hip Hop Professor, and I don't think this is you.
Wait, we found somebody else. Hold on.
This is not. Wait,
he can't see it.
There's a glare.
There's another Hip Hop Professor?
Yeah, who that nigga?
Nah.
Oh, he light skinned. No,
nigga.
I did underscore. It's the underscore hip underscore.
Oh no, it's just Hip Hop Professor. There's no the.
See? I didn't do my rules.
You gotta run the fade on the other nigga though.
Yeah.
The other dude is trying to steal your identity.
Yeah, that's
crazy, man. Crazy.
He light skinned.
Yeah.
Oh, you can find me at Divine Beauty, the letter N Style, and that's on Facebook and Instagram as well.
You can find me where you found me at. Make sure you like, subscribe.
We don't know who you are.
Cancel. I mean, if you found me here, you can find me anywhere.
We're gonna block him.
You know,
we might block him.
I'm on I am Duanus. That's IMDUANUS. If you just Google that, you'll find everything you need to find. All right, so yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, cancel me. It is what it is. And yes, thank y'all for pulling up. Appreciate y'all.
All views